So there's a music artist. She's a pop artist, Tyla. She's from South Africa. All right. She is, she just dropped a project, and the project sold 3.7 thousand units in the United States. Okay. Very, very, very low. A lot of people cannot really understand why that happened. A lot of people are making commentary. Some people are acting oblivious. Some people are acting like they don't understand. Some people acting like they don't get it, right? Folks acting like they don't get it. But we do get it. We get it. And it makes a lot of sense, to be honest. All right. Let me change this because this format, I like it to be, a little bit bigger, but some people can't really see it that well. So we're going to change it like this. All right. We get it. Why Tyla is falling off. And this is because she disconnected with Black America. Okay? And this is what disconnecting with Black America gets you. Now, a lot of people are wondering why she's young. She is talented. She's attractive. She can sing and dance and all of that stuff. But it seems like she cannot get a footing here in America. And people are asking why. Now, she has the machine that is really trying to push, okay, discussing Africans. Again, we're discussing music. We're discussing music, okay? All right, if you want to come in and have a conversation, we can discuss whatever we want to discuss in this country. She's in this country, so we can discuss her, all right? She wants to be successful in America, and as an American, I can discuss that. Lord, okay? And this only goes to prove the point. But to continue, a lot of people are asking, and I'm just talking about people in the chat room. A lot of people are asking, why? And this is something that a lot of people are not understanding. When you disconnect with Black America, you as a colored person, because that's what she prefers, you're not going to make it, okay? You're not going to make it. The thing is that when she came over here, there were some problematic things. It's not because she was pushed too much in the media. She has a couple of songs that went super viral, trended really well, whatever the case is. I'm not super familiar with her music, but a lot of people are saying she was pushed beyond what her talent was, which is true. That's not really the reason why she's not hitting like that, even though it seems like, as far as the media representation, as far as her being on award shows, interviews, the Breakfast Club, every single gala and all the red carpets and stuff like that, seems like she's everywhere. And it seems like, as far as the music talent isn't really matching up or equating to how often we see her. And as an artist, you need to understand that we need to see and feel the music more than we see, or at least as much as we see and feel you as a person, okay? This is something that Beyonce, I will give much credit to Beyonce. Beyonce understands this, okay? You don't see Beyonce any and everywhere unless there's something about her music going on, unless there's an album that just released, unless there's a tour that just dropped, unless she just dropped some type of project, and then she's doing this as promotion for her project. But besides that, either she's working on herself or she's secluded, all right? And she stays to herself. You see this often with Kendrick Lamar. Unless he dropped an album or is doing a project or a tour, you don't really see Kendrick Lamar going any and everywhere doing any and everything. And I'm not saying you can't be successful if you are a lot of places, but the talent has to match, all right? So that's an issue. But the bigger issue is the fact that she's disconnected with Black America. Now, Tyla, let's be honest, has said some things that's rubbed Black America the wrong way, okay? And a lot of people bringing up one thing. It's been a couple of things that she said, all right? A lot of people bringing up the fact that Tyla, hold on, mute your mic as you're coming up. A lot of people mute your mic, brother, as you coming up. A lot of people bringing up the fact that Tyla is colored, or she likes to identify as colored. Now, let's take it like this. In America, we have different racial identities, all right? We have different racial identities, and that's fine, than outside of America. We understand that. We are not ignorant to geopolitics or how other people identify or whatever. But when you are in America, you have to follow a certain rule. Okay, that was the term, when in Rome, do as the Romans. All right. So when you're in America, you have to conform to the American custom. And in the American custom, for someone, a black person, to be identified as colored can be seen as a slur. All right. Because that was something that we used to be called and referred to during Jim Crow, and that's something that a lot of people use as like slurs when they're trying to denigrate black people. Those are colored people or whatever. So there's a lot of black people who will take offense to that. All right. Now, it's not an issue, let's be honest, it's not an issue that she identifies as colored, because she's from another place and that's their get down. That's how they understand and that's how they get down. Now, when you're over here, you do have to understand that's not our get down. And if that is taken as offense over here, you need to understand that. You can't expect to come to another person's land and then have them comply with the customs of your land. No, that's not how that works. When you go to another person's land, you comply with the customs of that person's land, their land. And over in America, if people are telling you, black Americans are telling you that referring to yourself as colored is something we see as offensive, you don't say, okay, well, you know, in South Africa, I refer to myself as colored, so it's cool. No. And it's a thing of, you can say, well, I didn't mean it that way, but that's not what her and her team did. That's not what her and her team did. All right. Everybody, and let's be honest, a lot of South Africans as well tried to do something like, I got your moment. Ha ha. Y'all don't know anything. Y'all dumb. And it was a lot of toxicity. Nobody's hating. Nobody's hating. The numbers speak for itself. All right. And y'all can try to pretend like she's doing great and she's not. And we've been saying that. Okay, y'all been riding on Tyla, acting like Tyla is the next Beyonce, and clearly this is not the case. Clearly she is not. So if anything, y'all need to sit there and listen, all right? If I was to go to South Africa and do something that they would find offensive, I can't say, well, it's fine because I don't find it offensive in America. Well, that's cool in America, but you're not in America, you're in South Africa. So if she comes from South Africa and does something offensive in America, and people say, hey, do you know that in America, that's kind of not our custom, we kind of find that offensive. And then the talking point behind it or the defense is, well, I'm from South Africa, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. And this is something that black Americans is not tolerating anymore. We're not tolerating people come over here and then say, well, I'm coming over here with the customs of my nation and y'all just got to accept that and deal with it. Because clearly that's not working out. That's not working out. All right. When you don't want to comply and when you don't want to follow the customs respectfully of the nation of people that you expect some support from, you're not going to do well. All right. Because you had during that time, I remember you had a whole lot of South Africans talking greasy. They was talking out the side of their neck, calling us ignorant, calling us uneducated. They was gaslighting. They was being very disrespectful and very xenophobic in defense of Tyla. And where's the South Africans right here? Let's be honest. Come on now. Where are the South Africans right here to support her? All right. Plus, we also had another issue with the South Africans with the Zulu parade. So there's something going on with South Africans right now. And South Africans is, y'all not really clicking the way y'all supposed to. It's not really adding up for y'all the way it's supposed to. There was another thing also. There was another thing where somebody was saying that Tyla acts like a uppity African. And then she decided to troll and like put uppity African in her Twitter bio, which was the wrong move. You're disconnecting yourself. You don't want to brand yourself that way. Okay. You're messing up. You're putting booby traps ahead of you for your own career. Okay. So now all of this stuff is circling back on you. And now when it comes to the numbers, ain't nobody really there to support you. Now you had this big media push that was trying to make you out to be this next big thing, and the numbers aren't reflecting that. So we're having a conversation as to what disconnecting from Black America gets you, and clearly it gets you 3.7K units sold. So we'll discuss that. I'll let BX go ahead. Of course, we're gonna have a conversation about this. Not gonna be too big, but then we're gonna move on, and we're gonna have another conversation about a completely different subject. So if y'all want to come up and say something, do it now. Don't try to come up when I say we're about to close, because y'all do that often for whatever reason. Every time I say we're about to close, then here comes a dozen people want to request up. Come up now and say your piece when you have a chance. BX, if you can set the decorum, please, and then we'll get to speakers.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
You can hear me, Afro?
yeah.
Good, okay. Hi, Afro.
How you doing?
Good to see you. So I just want to say to everybody up in arms that Tyla is on the prompt. Afro Elite does have a podcast called For the Culture, right? And so this is a part of the culture, right? A South African trying to make her way in the industry, but she needs Black Americans to make it happen for her here, at least, right? So this is a part of all of that. So it's not necessarily picking on her, but it's showing why we may have a disconnect with her as an artist. Okay, so I'm gonna say that. So when you come up on the panel, immediately go on mute until directed to speak. When you're directed to speak, please leave with your race and ethnic group. And if you're over 18, you don't have to give your pronouns unless you want to, but that's not required here. When I say race and ethnicity, what I mean is my race, and I'm gonna use myself, my race is Black, my ethnic group is African American / Black American, but I culturally identify as a foundational Black American. What that means is that my ancestors could be found on any U.S. census, on the year 1870. Means they were emancipated between 1863 and 1865. If you do not have that ancestry, your ancestors weren't in the United States of America during that period or in any census, in 1870 in the United States, you are not a Black American, you are not an African American, nor should you identify as a foundational Black American or anything. Like they coming up with foundational African American, foundational Black African. I mean, they don't have no creativity about themselves, Afro. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You would be what your parents' country of origin is, right? So if you have two Jamaican parents, then you are Jamaican American, Haitian American, Nigerian American, Ghanaian American, so on and so forth. If you are bi-ethnic, meaning you have one foundational Black American parent and maybe one from the Caribbean, one from the continent, you just say that you're bi-ethnic. We'll get it, and we'll probably ask you, where is your non-FBA parent from? Everybody is invited to speak here as long as they're respectful. So we actually keep it TikTok friendly language only. Do not comment fruits in the chat. Do not comment F1, but continuously like so that TikTok can pick up on the engagement. See that orange heart by Afro Elite's name? Click that and complete the daily mission so that that'll help him with the algorithm and the rankings. And here's one thing I forgot, Latinos. If you come up, we understand you may be Puerto Rican, Mexican, Dominican, San Salvadorian. Those are ethnic groups. That's your ethnicity. Your race would be what you present as. So if you present as a whitey, you are a whitey Hispanic. We understand mestizo if you have that in your lineage. And we understand Afro-Latino. We will ask you your country of origin. But when we say race, please comment with your race and then, your country of origin. I think that's all Afro, right? Because I touched on the bi-ethnic stuff. Okay, I'll mute.
That's pretty much it. Now, anytime we talk about celebrities, I will want to say this. Anytime we talk about celebrities, this isn't because I like or dislike celebrities, but there's a conversation to be had about, we're talking about Tyla, but the point is a little bit bigger than that, though. The point is a little bit bigger. I'm not insulting her. I'm not saying she's ugly or her music is bad or anything, but clearly there's a reason why her numbers are not doing that well, and it's not because she doesn't have publicity. It's not because she doesn't have publicity. It's not because people don't know who she is. So there, what is the reason her numbers isn't doing that well? And anytime we talk about celebrities, fanboys and fangirls want to come up and say, stop bullying. Nobody's bullying. We're having a mature adult conversation. And that's where we're going to keep it. So thank you all for liking and being here with us. Let's get to Detroit to Miami.
Yeah, I think Tyler numbers are like that because she's just not interesting. The music is mediocre. She's a pretty girl, but that's just it. She's not interesting. She's African. She did what Africans do. She came over here. She didn't play her cards right, and now it is what it is.
Mm. Well, yeah. You got to pay your cards right. You got to make smart moves. You got to make smart moves. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good point. You got to make smart moves. Rose Bay, you got it.
Hello.
How you doing?
So I'm confused. Why is why do you guys are upset with Tyla?
I'm not upset with Tyler. And what's your race and ethnicity?
I'm Black.
Where are you from?
America.
Where's your lineage from?
Jamaica and Costa Rica.
Okay, thank you. No, is that your question? If that's it, then yeah, we're not upset with Tyler. Then we can move on.
And
Why do you think?
her album, her sales were low because people just don't appreciate her music. They don't appreciate her brand. They rather rappers.
No, there's other people who make pop albums and R&B albums and things like that that don't do that bad. So it's
Even
proving
artists who are not
everybody
mainstream feel way more than that.
everybody. There's a lot of different people who do like hip hop and do like other music. When people make it seem like if you like rap, you cannot like anything else. I like rap, but I like other genres of music as well too. Most people who like rap also like other genres of music. So it's not just, well, a lot of people are into rap nowadays, so they don't listen to anything else. No, that's not true.
It's
That's not
enough
true.
Africans
The
over here,
music
bro,
is
that
really
sold
good.
more than that. It's
But
not about rap fans.
hold on. What do you have to say about this? What do you have to say about that? Why do you think so? You think that it's just because people only listen to rap?
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
They
well, if that's
don't.
the case, every single artist who doesn't rap should have very bad numbers, right?
There's a very small percentage of people who don't rap, and right now, in
So
the
you
industry.
can't. So you mean to tell
That
me
makes no sense.
if I was to get any other rapper or any other music artist, if they don't rap, they're not doing well? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, at this point, like in America, pretty much, mainly rap
Okay,
streams
if
the
that's the case,
most.
why was Tyla initially doing better numbers than she is now? Her
Because
music, hold on, when Tyler first came out, her music was doing much better than it is now. So why is it seeming like her music is declining, or her listeners are, the numbers of her listeners are starting to fade away? Because she was never rapping. She was never rapping. So let's look, come on now.
I would
Because if
say,
people didn't like rap, you know what I'm saying? Her numbers should have always been low, but it seems like it started high and now it's decreasing. So how do you explain that?
well, I would say her music in general was never popular. It was just that one song she made was trending on TikTok, which got her popular. But no one really plays her her other songs don't really trend besides that song.
Okay. So you're okay. Now we're not gonna have this. I mean, we are gonna move on, because the thing is that if you don't know enough about music to not know that every other. Now let me ask you this question, right? Beyonce is breaking crazy records right now with a country album. With a country album. So how do you explain now if you're saying that everybody loves rap and Beyonce is and she's a black woman breaking records with a country album? How do you explain that?
Well, because
If the world has turned into people just loving rap and that's it.
she's been in the
No,
industry for
but
a long time. She has a
no.
solid fan
Hold
base.
on. But with the argument of everybody, because I asked you a couple times, um, um, everybody, oh, I'm sorry, I had a text. I asked you a couple times. Everybody who's not doing rap isn't doing well. You said pretty much everybody who's not doing rap is not doing good. Okay, I brought up Beyonce. Beyonce's doing phenomenal right now, and she's not rapping. She's actually touching a genre she's never touched before.
Well, if anyone else was to come out with a country album right now, probably wouldn't do well just because it's Beyonce. The
Okay.
album wasn't even, in
What
my
about
opinion, that
Tim?
Oh
good.
shit,
So
Tyla been
a lot
through
of people
that.
also bringing up Tim's, who's also African and who doesn't rap, is
We
also
love
doing a
him.
lot better than
People only
Tyla
like
is. How do
Thames
you
because she was
explain that?
on that Drake and Future song. If it wasn't a Drake and
No,
Future
no,
song,
We love
I'm
Tim.
talking about her albums and her listeners.
yeah, I think she was able to get a solid fan base because of that. The
Oh
last
shut
song
the
she
fuck
did,
No,
up.
no,
Let
no,
Somebody
no,
somebody
New.
else
because it
speak.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at that point because you said that if they're not rapping, people aren't going to listen. And now we're bringing up people who are not rapping and doing well. So clearly, the excuse that Tyla isn't doing well is not because she's not rapping.
I just don't think
Okay.
people are
She's a
giving her
bad
a
person that we should
chance
Okay,
see.
to
y'all
push
got to
her
stop.
genre.
Everybody can't interject.
I don't
Okay,
think
Nah,
what?
people are giving
listen
her
to
a chance.
Tyla.
Stop interrupting. Okay, well, if you just don't know that much about music, then we're gonna have to move on. How about that? All right.
I know a lot, but we can move
You clearly don't.
on. Okay.
Rose, you don't know shit.
For Jesus.
Okay, I'm gonna remove you because you kept interrupting, and I told you not to. All right. So let's get to Halo. Halo, how you doing?
I'm doing good. So I'm gonna just say this: the reason why her this is a humble moment for her, because let's be for real, her fans came for Black Americans. They kept coming for Black Americans, provoking Black Americans, and when it came to our artists, they try to compare her and try to make it seem like they taking over something. It's more so the boycott as we
Mm-hmm.
do it now. Because if we really want to be technical here, Afro beats ain't given in America anyways. Whether you're Tim's, whether you any of them, because we starting to see exactly who you are. Her ticket sales is low because she got humbled. She was over here thinking she like they try to say uppity over here thinking somebody hold my award like she better than Hallie. On the Breakfast Club, she felt like when she didn't want to answer something, she turned around, looked at her people like she had to answer it. Nobody, you don't do that over here in America. We don't do stuff like that. We starting to see you for who you are. And then your whole fan base was on TikTok trolling Black Americans, bringing up slavery, bringing up cotton picking, and all this other stuff. Do you think we finna support you? Then you on here talking about color. I'm colored. Do you not know that colored is an offensive word in America? You did not care. You did not care that we don't use that. But you came over here saying it anyway. So guess what? Now you humble. Now you're gonna sit there with your little 3,000 sales
Cancel. Yeah, she got canceled.
and sit and be humble because you thought this was a joke. You thought we're gonna still support you. Who you think supporting you? Who you think was supporting you? Wasn't the white tea people? It was the Black Americans. You over here cosplaying Aaliyah, cosplaying our people, and then coming over here and disrespecting your whole little thing is Black American. I don't see nothing really too much of from South Africa in your music. You're cosplaying Black Americans and disrespecting Black Americans, and then your fan base is doing it as well. We're not with that. That's why you're sitting where you at now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You thought it was a joke.
And people, as you can see, you have people who are trying to run defense, like old girl who's just up here trying to run defense, act like, well, no, it's just because nobody listens to her type of music. No, that's not
No,
why.
because
That's not why. The issue is, as the brother said, you came here and you played your cards wrong. Okay, you made a lot of bad moves with the color thing. It could have been very simple if she came out and said, you know what, I said that because I'm from South Africa and this is how we do in South Africa. I didn't mean no disrespect. I didn't mean to offend anybody. I apologize. But instead, first off, they made it a thing where they brought her on the Breakfast Club. And even still on the Breakfast Club, it was a thing where she was like reluctant to apologize or say she's black. She didn't say she was black on the Breakfast Club. Then went on, made an Instagram story saying, well, yeah, I am black, but this is like, that was just complete. You could have easily just said, hey, my bad. I didn't mean to offend nobody. Because if you go to somebody else's land and you do something that they find offensive,
Yeah.
you're just gonna say, "Oh, well, I didn't know that y'all found that offensive because we don't, over
Okay.
here we do that." But my bad, I didn't mean no offense or whatever. And then everybody would have been like, "Oh, okay, that's cool," and then kept it pushing. But that's not what she did, and a lot of other people are acting like, and notice the kind of like uppity, kind of like spoiled brat almost attitude. She comes and gives like a very rich spoiled brat vibe. That's what some people are saying.
Yeah.
And then with comments like, I'm not apologizing or taking accountability for the colored comment, that's why a lot of people been falling back. That's the reality of the situation. Okay.
And she also had got sick, and or so they say sick, but it was a lot of tour dates canceled. Her marketing was horrible. Her tour dates got canceled, so that all
Yeah.
those things was like a perfect storm of disaster, and it just sunk her. All of that stuff together with that poor marketing, the canceling tours, canceling shows, all that, racial stuff. And then even Afrobeat, she even made a statement like, "I'm not Afrobeats, I'm my piano." Like who? Like we know the damn difference. We in America, we don't know the difference between Afrobeats and my piano. That's some African stuff. How would we know? But it's like she alienated her own fan base over there, like the Afrobeats people. It's like, who you think you is? We all African. You talking about you ain't Afrobeats and we all African. So it was a perfect storm.
It was a couple of things. Let's get
Yeah.
to Big Slick.
What's up, y'all?
What's good, bro?
I was very mad when she disrespected Hallie. Hallie has always been a queen to me. I love her work. I love what she represents. And when she was just like, trying to just give her the award to hold for her, I'm like, you don't know do some research before you come over here. Like, you just gonna give her your award like she's your do girl? Like, that was crazy to me. That's where she lost me. And I think she's a very beautiful girl, but she has a very a conceited, rude attitude. And that's all I gotta say about her. Like, I can't listen to her music.
Yeah, it seems like, and this is what I'm saying, not because she's not talented and all of this stuff. This is not hate, but it seems like it's one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing after another thing that y'all keep trying to act like isn't there. It seems like there's always something. So a lot of people are saying, you know what, nah, we can just move on past this. At that point, that's what a lot of people feeling like. Let me see. Who were Hart? That's your, I guess we're gonna get to Hart, Miss Hart up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I was just saying, like, in response to, well, I don't know, I think she dropped from the panel, but she was saying, like, how Tyla referenced herself as colored and how that's an offensive term to Black Americans in the US. And I said, okay, but colored is like a legitimate classification in South Africa. Colored describes individuals who reside there who are not of pure African descent.
Mhm.
Some South Africans may find it offensive for people like Tyla who have mixed race backgrounds to refer to themselves as African. That is why the colored classification was created.
Okay.
And so, in addition to that, there was just other comments that I just felt like were xenophobic, like the comment
Are you
about,
South African?
no, I'm not South African. I'm African, but born in the United States.
Where at from Africa?
I'm from Sudan.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I was born in the
Okay.
United
So
States.
what? Let me ask you. What other comments did you feel like were xenophobic?
The Piano comments, how Tyla's classifying her music as she wants to show Piano to the world outside of South Africa. And someone was like, Piano, Afrobeats, we don't know what that is over here. And I'm just like, okay, I get you may not be fond of Tyla because of some comments that she made, but like, some of those comments kind of felt xenophobic to hear, and it was kind of
Okay.
disappointing
Well,
as
here's the
well.
thing. When we have these conversations, um, a lot of people like feel like get in their feelings about this, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to be very for real and mature about this. Don't get offended and don't get in your feelings about it. This isn't the thing is that there was a growing base of people who are interested in Afro beats, and that's why she got the award. She got the award for Afro beats. She didn't get the award for I think what you said, Amo Piano. She didn't get the award for that. And then when she got the award for Afro beats, she said, "Well, this ain't about Afro beats." So that's something that rubs some people the wrong way. Okay, because it comes off as bratty. That's why. Okay, to us, the energy that she gave at that award show comes off to us as bratty. Now let's get to the thing about her being colored. I'm someone who understands, and I study, geopolitics, and I understand a lot of, how other people identify around the world to a degree. I'm not from around the world, but to a degree. I don't think anybody was upset about or didn't understand rather about the fact that she's colored and that's how they identify. We understand that if you come from another place, you are going to identify with something else. But you have to understand here the term colored has a different history than the term colored does in South Africa. So when you're over here and you be all like, yeah, I'm a colored girl, a lot of people are going to look at that and people are going to feel some type of way because the history of the term colored is different and problematic here. So when people said that to Tyla and her team, it could have easily been, oh, well, no, well, in South Africa, this is what we use, but I didn't mean to offend nobody. I'm not trying to say I'm not black. I was just speaking on the identification from South Africa, but that's not what not only did she do, nor is that what South Africans online did. You had TikTok videos, Twitter videos of South Africans saying that we were ignorant, we needed to leave her alone, we didn't know anything, and we were being xenophobic. So her fan, not just her, but her fan base is also very toxic as well too, which is a huge reason as to why a lot of people has a bad taste in their mouth about her. Okay, because of the colored comment, not just because she said colored, but because of how it was. Hold on. It was not handled respectfully. It wasn't handled respectfully. Okay, it does. At the end of the day, you're in America. That's it's at the end of the day, you're in America. Okay, so you can't be all like, well, this is cool where I come from. Well, you're not where you come from. At the end of the day, you're just not there. All right. So you're here. So you got to comply with the culture here. And if you don't want to, this is what happens. And that's just how it is.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I could see where you're coming from. But it also makes me think about, and I guess some people may not say this is like related to what we're talking about, but okay, like biracial artists who don't really identify, like call themselves black, but they refer to themselves as mixed or biracial.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of similar to this situation. But I don't see as much backlash.
I don't really see. First off, I don't see that, but I will actually give you an example.
What's her name, Doja Cat, for example.
I will give you an example. First off, Doja Cat got a lot of flack because Doja Cat has been doing stuff, and there's a discord going on, and I want to say this just because it is important to the subject. There's a discord going on with mixed people in general, but the thing is that Doja Cat, even though a lot of people didn't know she was half white or whatever when she first came out, because she first blew up with that "Make a Milkshake Cow Moo" or something like that song on YouTube, and then that kind of blew up, and then she kind of got relevant off of that. But the thing is that a lot of people fell off when she started to do a bunch of like anti-black things, pandering to her non-black side. I will give you another example. Lotto came out when her rapper name was Mulatto, which is a term for mixed people, mixed black person. Okay, and a lot of people, because of the history of this country, find that offensive. Because that's something that slaves used to be referred to as mulatto. So when people gave pushback to the term mulatto, she then changed it, okay, to lotto.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some people who still kind of feel some type of way about that, but they will respect the fact that she listened enough, or at least her team listened enough to say, okay, you're gonna have to change this. And you're gonna have to do something else. Because if people find, even if you don't think it is, if people find that offensive, racially or ethnically offensive, and you say, I don't care what people find offensive, I'ma do what I'ma do anyway, you can't expect people to support you. All right. And those are really different examples from Tyla, to be honest. I just spoke on that because we're talking about music in general, but those are not the examples of Tyla. Okay. But yeah, so yeah.
Find funny, Afro Elite. You know what I
Uh-huh.
find funny? When they migrate here or have children here, they swear they're African American, right? But they want us to understand when Tyler comes here to do business and get some type of a currency from us, some currency, social currency, and make a music pop, we got to understand she's colored. What is it? We got to understand that you are us because you was migrated here, or she gets to have her own autonomy. Like, y'all are coming here just doing stuff all disrespectfully. What you addressed wasn't even xenophobic. They just said they never heard of the genre, and you crying xenophobia. And it's just cultural differences. And at this point, it's tiring. It's tiring because they're doing so much. They're doing too much. And
Yeah.
they're not putting that same energy where it should be directed on their homeland. Stop worrying about us and who we
Yeah.
are and what you think is xenophobic, because all it is an opinion that we don't know enough about y'all. We don't know enough to
Yes.
make that piano pop. And what we heard, we don't like. She just don't have the it factor.
Can I
And
go
making the
next?
wrong move. And I'm gonna let you go, but I'm gonna just say this: when people come in with their feelings on their sleeves, they're gonna find everything xenophobic. They're gonna find any and everything xenophobic. Nobody said anything xenophobic at all this entire conversation, but you're finding things xenophobic because a lot of foreigners are in their feelings every time we say something. All right, let's
Hi.
get to. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
One thing I wanted to address is when Tyler did the interview with the Breakfast Club, one of the things that I felt like could have easily met in the middle in terms of what is acceptable culturally in both areas is just referring to herself as mixed. Right. And then you could have gone down the line of what you're mixed with, and that would have been better received than you refusing to answer the question. And not only that, looking back at her staff, like, can you guys handle that? They're asking me something that I told them not to touch on. That was the obvious thing that went on there. And he said he was going to keep that in the clip because he wanted people to see, hey, how snobby you're acting in this interview. Like, we're giving you a platform, access to everyone who's watched us for years, longer than you've been alive. And instead of like humbling yourself to respond to the questions and allow people to get to know you, you're basically saying, I'm above this. So no, that's not well received. That's one thing. The other thing, I don't know if Tyla has any American people on her team, but she could really use a little diversity because the way that things have rolled out traditionally, most artists go in and they make the music that they're required to make first. They build a brand because the company puts these people behind them, knowing what people are asking for based off statistics. So if you know that you're on a piano, you accept award for Afro beats, that's a choice, right? Why accept an award if you know that's not your brand? Okay.
Yeah.
But you did. So with that, you're agreeing to ride the ride. Okay. But if I were on your marketing team, I would basically say, hey, you want to introduce this to the world? Let's go ahead and do this first. And then let's make a song called I'm a Piano, roll that out, make that a buzzword that people have to use when they associate it with your album. And more people will then start educating and having conversations around the term I'm a Piano, because to this day, we still don't know what that is. And you just saying, oh, it's not that, after accepting an award saying it is that, is a disqualifying factor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how I feel about it. That's what I had to say. Yeah, there's going to be a big disconnect. You missed all the opportunities to teach people who you are. And you turned your nose up at the idea of having the responsibility to do that, and thus you're left with the what's behind, which is nothing but dust.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Hold on. Let's
Afro
get
Elite.
to Mackenzie for time's sake. We're gonna get to Mackenzie real quick.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, no, just to add on to that, like people are saying that oh, she's, it's not really her, it's her team, but she was the same one that put on her caption uppity
Yeah,
African,
I saw
right?
that in
So
the
she
live
she
stream. Yep.
so she added on to that. She liked that, having that she liked that energy. And a lot of these celebrities, don't mistake for 1 second. They see exactly what we see online. And the thing with her, I think this was a wake up call for her, because a lot of times, not only just in entertainment, but what we're even seeing right now with this whole immigration thing, you allow these people to get into your ear, put a little too much dip on your chip, and then you have a wake up call. And regardless of our standing here in America, one thing is for sure is that Black Americans,
Go
one
ahead.
thing's for sure, regardless of where, what happens here in America pertaining to Black Americans, two things are true. One, we have one of the biggest spending power, and then as far as entertainment, we run it. We run as far as the influence, right? I can go into the other departments as far as, Hollywood and things like that, but when it comes to what's seen as cool, what's dictated, what's like, these are all Black American things. You cannot run from it. And so it's just funny, because if we go to another country, we're kind of like, oh, you have to be conscious of the practices and everything like that. When people come here, they feel like, oh, I don't have to give any respect. And for her to basically go to like a Black American station, and it wasn't just her PR like cutting them off, it was her body language. If you watch that interview again, her body language was very pompous. It's like, it's like she turned around like, oh, I don't have to answer to you. You answer to them. Anyway, next question. Like, it was very off-putting. And then the last thing I'll say is, like, a lot of people keep bringing up this mix thing. I don't know why, like, they're treating it like she's a unicorn. We have a lot of mixed people in America. She's not like the first mixed person we've ever came across. But I think that that's what her team was pushing, as far as like what separates her from the rest of us. What would be considered special. But even with Rihanna embraced Black Americans when she came here. And it wasn't later on till she kind of did her style of music. So she did pop first when she came here. So I just feel like, they're either going to have to uh, go international and stay over there, which is perfectly fine, or she's going to have to probably go on like a apology tour or something. But yeah, I think this was a good wake up call. And South Africans are very quiet these last few days. I
Yeah,
wonder why that is.
that's
But yeah,
true.
that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Let me
Afro
say
Elite.
something about. Hold on, I'm gonna let you go ahead right after this. Let me say something about this, about the thing with the Breakfast Club. Right, she got into the controversy about the referring to herself as colored before she went on the Breakfast Club. All right, it's not as if Charlemagne or Envy. I don't know if I don't think that Just was there at the time. I think she was on leave, but it's not as if they grilled her about that. But they did have to bring it up. They had to bring it up because that's been viral. People wanted to know about that. So they brought it up in a very respectful way where she could have easily even if it was a staged, scripted talking point, she could have easily just regurgitated whatever her team said and put that to bed. She easily could have done that. They could have brought it up, but the fact that her team was all like, "Well, we're not going to talk about that at all." A lot of people watched the interview because of the controversy she got in because of the term color. So of course they're going to bring that up, and they didn't bring it up like, "Hey, Tyler, do you know how ignorant you were when you said colored?" Charlamagne was all like, okay, so what's going on with the color thing and the black thing? You easily could have been like, oh, well, no, it was a misunderstanding. I was talking about South Africa. I didn't mean no offense. And then and that would have been it. But instead, she looked like, almost like, how dare you ask me this? And then
Right.
turned around and damn near told them to get on Charlamagne. Like, she looked like, what is they doing?
Also, can I say one thing real quick? Can I say one thing? I'll say one quick. So what I'll also say real quick is that as far as talent, I think she's talented. I obviously think she's beautiful. But I think that here in America, we have so many talented Black Americans. Like, I don't know. And we have so many stars. That's another thing. And we have so many
Beautiful
people
Black
that have,
Americans.
huh? What did you say?
We have so many beautiful Black Americans
Right,
too.
right. Beautiful, talented,
Who is she?
that have staying power. And so for me, she reminds me of Christine Milian, and that's no disrespect, right? But that's who she reminds me of. And so for me, it's like when you have like the Whitney Houstons, when you have the Beyoncés, like you're trying to force someone, you want me to view someone who's a Beyonce, and I view her as a Christine Milian. And that's not bad. That's not, that's not like to say she's not talented. Again, I'm not a hater. I think she's beautiful and talented, but it's like you're trying to push us to see her in one light, and she's not there. And there's also other talents as far as like Victoria Monet, who they have not put money behind. There's people like Ryan Destiny, they have not really put money behind. Even Chloe Bailey, even Haley, like there's a few of them that the I don't know how the marketing dollars go, but they're putting a tremendous amount of marketing dollar on this girl, where it's like I said the other day, I was like, yo, I feel like she's being forced on us. And people are like, oh, you being a hater. I'm like, no, this girl is being forced on us. And these sales basically tell you that's exactly what's been going on. And it's like, you can't force someone to be an it girl. The public is going to tell you, all right, is this the one? And the last thing I'll say too is like, she might be the biggest thing coming out of South Africa, but she's not the biggest thing coming out of America. And I think that's kind of like the realization for a lot of people. It's like, we have people, you come to New York, there's people that are on the subway that are hella talent. Like, this is regular shit here. And I think it's not really clicking for those that are in South Africa as far as talents and looks.
I think
Yeah,
I
I mean, yeah, I agree. We're gonna continue. I appreciate everybody's patience, but that's what I said before. You got to be known for more than just a couple of trending songs. I mean, you on every award show, you on every red carpet, doing every interview. And as far as the music aspect of it, and this ain't to say we hating, but you too early in the game to be sitting up there getting all this publicity. And that's just the truth of the matter. You got a major publicity behind you, and you lacking on the music side. So it comes off to us as you're more sizzle than steak. That's just what it comes off as.
Too cocky.
All right. Let's get to left girl politics.
Hey, AE, how you doing?
How you doing?
This is my first time to your live. I just have a slightly different perspective. Mariah Carey is a perfect example
Okay.
of what you guys are talking about. And of course I'm from the 80s or whatever, so I'm a little bit of a music historian, big Whitney Houston fan. Back in the day, all the girls had to sing. It didn't matter whether you were Whitney or whoever, right? And she was being compared to Whitney Houston. Now, even though Mariah Carey looks, to this generation, they don't really know the history with it. They'll say, oh, well, she looks like a white woman, but she's ambiguous. Mariah Carey still to this day will tell you, you can look at her multi-interviews. She's never, ever identified as white. She has recently been asked that again in these dumbass interviews. They keep, that's why she tends to go with more African-American or Black interviewers, because we tend to ask relevant questions about her career. You know what I mean? Because the journalism is different. So she tends to gear to that. But from day one, even though Tommy Mottola, she had a big music, back in the day when record companies really used to push artists and you physically had to go to the stores to buy them, not download them. Tommy Mottola wanted to put Mariah in that box, okay? And Mariah will tell you even then, from day one, even when you heard Mariah's demo tapes, Mariah was, excuse my language, Mariah was a nigga from day one. Okay, she always claimed that side. The black aunt that she had that she went to church with, that's where she got that sound from. Okay, and even though a lot of these mixed kids today, and I'm just gonna say it, these mixed kids today play in our faces. I have a Caribbean background. I was born in Florida, but my family's from the Caribbean, Grenada, and I have a lot of African friends.
Okay.
There's no way that this young lady didn't know what she was doing. Africa has the same colorism and bullshit that the United States has. The difference is they're educated. Africa is known, I mean, they teach English. Education is huge there. Most African kids that are here that are born in the United States that have African parents from the actual continent, they're all educated, but they listen to the same rap and bullshit like we do, okay? So the American culture is a little
Use
different.
TikTok friendly language, please. Thank you.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, the language you can't because
Oh,
TikTok.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me tone that down. Okay. And with Mariah Carey, that's why when she came out with Butterfly, all of white of America was going, "Oh my God, what happened? She's trying to change." No, Mariah wasn't trying to change. They tried to change her, and with her having the autonomy, writing her own songs and so on and so on, the talent was already there. So she told Sony to go shove it, okay, and then made her transition. But she stayed true to who she was. Like she said, she always felt ambiguous, but she found a team and she sided with that team. For the most part, she lost some viewers, okay, she lost some listeners, but Mariah didn't care because she's sold over 230 million albums, okay. And when you look at it from that perspective, this young lady does not know who she is. You have a lot of these cosplaying, mixed playing, they play with our culture just like the whites do. It's kind of like, remember when Pink came out? Remember how L.A. Reid pushed her to do R&B? And she was very good at it. Pink is a great singer. But then the African American culture, we did not embrace her, if you remember that. So then she went back to her rock days, whereas Christina Aguilera never wavered. And she's Spanish, for God's sakes. So her team is skewed. A lot of times you have these people just like what Tommy Mottola was to Mariah Carey. And unless you are rooted into who you are and you accept that, you see, they take our culture, but they don't want to take the woes that goes along with it. That's what this young lady's problem. She knows, and she used her team on the Breakfast Club as an excuse to say, oh, well, I can't say that, and I can't say this. She's bigger in her own head than what she really, really was. And how dare they compare her to Rihanna? There's no comparison. Rihanna's a Caribbean girl like I am. Rihanna never ever wanted to be compared, nor was she ever referred to. And when Rihanna came out, you knew Rihanna was
Can I
black.
ask you a question real quick? Not to cut you off, because are both your parents Caribbean?
My dad was not, but my mom was.
So your dad is a Black American.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
so I'm heavily, the English or whatever. I'm very multicultural, traveled as a child. So I'm very familiar with the cultures and the education. And this is an excuse. If there's any continent in the world that understands the Black American culture, I mean, it's just like the controversy with Cynthia Erivo. She didn't want to be Black at first, but then she got all the accolades. Okay, now she's trying to stream into the American culture, and then she's cosplaying with the young lady Ariana Grande with the whole Wicked thing or whatever. And the thing about it is that African Americans, we have a different experience in this country. So when we sing a lot of these older songs, like she recently redid the whole Jennifer Hudson song from Dreamgirls, right? It sounded different. She's a great singer, but you've got to have that. You've got to have experienced something. You've got to know. You've got to be from here. And a lot of times when you find these imports, when they come in, if you don't respect the culture in general of American music, it doesn't matter which genre, you're always going to fail. And then if you have no sense of identity, look at her at these different shows. She was even on Jennifer Hudson. She has no personality. Rihanna has a personality. You either wanted to love her or but whatever it was, you wanted to hang out with her, right? She's mixed. Rihanna is not. And that's the other thing too. The light-skinned people are I'm dark-skinned. The light-skinned people are getting a bad rap because now they're calling people like Beyonce, who is Black, who has two Black parents. Now all the light-skinned people are being lumped in with the mixed, like, no. And Zendaya, who is basically ambiguous like Mariah Carey of them all, and even though she's with her fiance, the white English guy, even she, you can see the videos or whatever, she embraces her black side, and she has spoke out about colorism and the inequities of what they pay and so on and so on. I mean, you saw she's getting $1 million, right, for her show on HBO or whatever. So this is this young lady. I mean, we keep blaming her team. No, I blame her. This is how it is in South Africa, and particularly South Africa, not in the African continent. If you're lighter, you see what I'm saying? You're considered as better, right? Because it's more geared to white. So that's the reality of the African continent. It's always been like that. It's never going to change. And if you notice, a lot of the African brothers that come over here, if you notice, they love American women. That's what they don't tell you. They love American women. But if you look at who's on their arm, it's normally a lighter, okay, shade of a American black woman, right? But she tends to be of a lighter hue. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Now let me just say something before we move on in the conversation or whatever. Speaking of Mariah Carey, my mama loves Mariah Carey, boy. And we all do in the family, my whole family. But now we all understand it's not a secret that Mariah Carey is mixed. Now Mariah Carey has never, at least to my knowledge, and according to nobody, Mariah Carey has never did this. Well, I'm half white and I'm half black, and I can go. I see from both perspectives. I'm not really black or white. I'm kind of both. The stuff that a lot of mixed people do, Mariah has never done that, and black people have never had an issue with Mariah Carey. Okay, so Mariah Carey serves as a perfect example as to the fact that black people don't really have an issue with mixed people. When I see mixed people talk about, well, I just wasn't really accepted by the black community. No, that's not because of our culture. That's because a lot of y'all were doing that half white, half black. I don't really want to claim either side type stuff. The Mariah didn't do that, and Mariah was fully welcomed, and nobody had an issue with Mariah. But when y'all start with this, I'm half black, half white, Logic, the rapper Logic, half black, half white. I see from both sides. I'm not really accepted over here. They call me this over here. Like when y'all start doing that, then people just, yeah, okay, all right. Okay.
And they do it for convenience and money, right? And even I'm going to even go a step further with Mariah Carey. Let's be honest. Mariah never wanted to be known as a pop singer. If you notice, now that she's gotten a little older, she's got her money, she's put her mark on the music industry, and she's that girl. So, she's older now, she can talk her stuff. Okay, Mariah, even from the very beginning, had always wanted to be known because, always wanted to be known as an R&B singer. She's heavy on the R&B. Okay, and if you notice with her new album, the new songs that came out, notice she didn't go to a Tyler. Okay, the 2 artists, Kalani and Shinsia, okay, one is Jamaican, right? And Kalani is from here. And both of them, I know Shinsia, one of her parents is Asian, but she denounces her dad. So her black mom, she leans heavily into that. But Shinsia, even though she does not look, she's of a darker hue, she doesn't necessarily look like I would, you know what I mean? An authentic, black girl or whatever. Shinsia is black, and she's never wavered from that. And even though she's more of a dance hall girl, this is a perfect example to compare to Tyler. I mean, Shinsia, I think, is prettier than her, happens to be darker than her. She's got a personality. She has no label now. I know at one point she was with the, Def Jam or whatever, but they didn't.
Can I stop you? Please, ma'am? So who are you calling Shinsia? I would probably call Shinsi, right? And she's very problematic to Black Americans because she said that Bob Marley was bigger than Michael Jackson. So that stuff type,
That's
Shinsi
more
feeds
so.
into.
That's more so of an opinion. I don't mind that. What I'm saying is that she's always close to blackness.
I do.
And that's fine.
So let's kind of move on for people's looks and this and that. We get what you're saying. We get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
but
different musical taste. I can agree with that. You know what I mean? All of us don't always agree
I can
on that.
say this, right? One minute. So it's a little bit disingenuous. You said that you were from the island of Grenada and stuff, and then it's all the wee hour, this and that, right?
No, I'm actually an American, and I was born in
Caribbean
Florida.
overpassing your place. Okay, that's fine. You could be born on the soil, but not be of the lineage, right? Because you lack Caribbean.
I'm of the lineage.
So here's my issue. People like, well, man, I heard you talk for like 10 minutes. I have to come
BA,
off my mission. She's very problematic. She feeds into the diaspora tensions.
she said her
So
dad is
here's my issue. But you got
Black
a
American.
Caribbean, huh?
She said her dad is Black American.
I'm not listening to that part right there. I heard her. She led with Caribbean first, and then she went to the we and our. And then when we called her out on the we and our, all of a sudden she got a American dad. Leave daddy alone. Leave him alone. We going with Caribbean. Because you have a kind of Caribbean bias. I heard you say, they're more educated and they listen to all the mess that we do here. What is mess, man? These are our music forms. You know what I'm saying? This one is prettier than that one. Like, we don't need all of that. We really don't. So here's what I want to say. Doja Cat is like a Obama, right? Because her father's some type of African, and then she's mixed with the white tea. What I want to say is certain biracials, because some biracials don't want to be called mixed. So biracials and multiracials, if they don't have the lineage, they're just different. And I don't think they should compare themselves to our mulattoes and mulatto. They shouldn't compare themselves to our biracials because they're different. I'm biracial, damn it. It's different than these other people that's being mentioned on this forum. Tyla thought that she could compare herself to our biracials, our multiracials and stuff, and she just can't. It's a cultural difference. She's not accepted. And I don't care how many of those 3.7 were Black Americans, she doesn't get the stamp. And so there's a cultural difference between the Caribbean and us, especially if they lead with Caribbean first. That's where their allyship is to them. And this lady called our music a mess or some mess, and y'all didn't catch that?
Stop it, please.
And then
Stop
I
it.
caught,
Ma'am.
I hear the accent real deep now because you're upset. And then she said something about the Africans. They're more educated or some mess. Like, I'm tired of her, y'all.
Okay,
It's time to move on.
Okay, all right. There's no need. Stop. Damn. We can't have a single live without. Look, let's move on. We're moving on. Because y'all going to make me cut this short. Damn.
Say something.
No. We got to move on. Okay, David, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have actually a South African artist, so this is actually pretty interesting to me, but I also understand why these things are going on. So, so I have my bachelor's degree. I went to Full Sail University. I have my audio engineering degree, and I actually had an internship with Leslie Brathwaite. So when WAP was being created, I actually saw the inception of that. Like, I saw the whole rollout. I actually had an internship with Juliet Jones, which was the vice president of Atlantic Records. So I pretty much had like a deeper insight of how like kind of the music industry goes. And the thing is, you can't necessarily compare Mariah Carey to what's going on now because the music industry has drastically changed. It's actually a lot more challenging now because, the music industry, everything's fighting for attention right now. So the problem with Tyla is that, the reality situation is that, obviously you needed the Black demographic to resonate with you, African American demographic to resonate with you. Because like in my if I were to look at from my subjective opinion, like like African music is the best music. You know what I'm saying? It's like the bloodline of what all these like percussive, like reggaeton, reggae, all that comes from Africa, from the colonizers bringing slaves here, and they brung that music here. I've done the whole music history thing from the inception, from Thomas Edison or the Berliner or the gramophone. All that great music comes from Africa from the get-go. Like, without Black people, you'd be listening to all that Beethoven, Mozart, and that music was good, but it didn't have the percussion. It didn't have the soul of African drums. So what's happening now is that music is becoming more democratized with streaming. The Americans had a huge gatekeeping hold on the music scene. Now that, streaming has kind of somewhat democratized everything, there's becoming more diversity and more recognition from other places. Even the UK scene's starting to butt a little bit. Also, what's happening is that, and it just unfortunately, this tends to happen, hip hop is getting old. Hip hop is, I would say, and it's kind of like, because there's life cycles with this. Hip hop is 50 years old, so it's getting in kind of into jazz rock type of oldness, where like I would say hip hop is kind of in its like Kurt Cobain Team Spirit, the '90s era, and then because hip hop is not as popular as it used to be 10, 20 years ago, and its golden age in the '90s. But that's because like music tends to have a life cycle. Now, as far as I'm a Piano, I feel like I'm a Piano is extremely dope. And the reason why the American demographic or these major record labels are trying to resonate with that is because they're trying to get on it early. Again, America's trying to gatekeep. America's trying to gatekeep a lot of the music because that's what they've always done. But like Africa is really budding in its music scene because it's actually getting recognized, for what it is. So basically, what they're trying to do is that they're trying to colonize. That's why Afrobeats. That's why you hear that more because they're trying to get on it because that's going to be the next hot thing, or that's what they believe or perceive. I'm a Piano hasn't really bud, but basically what I'm a Piano is like house music, but the African version of it. So it's like EDM but 10 times doper. That's what I'm a Piano is. The problem with Tyla is that you don't have the white demographic. So you could get away with, like, for example, the reason why Drake, it's hard for, like, because the black demographic, we try to shun him away, right? Because, we crown Kendrick as our true, authentic, African-American, and he's kind of alienated a lot of artists. That's why Future doesn't work with him. That's why Metro doesn't work with him. But the reality situation, all black people can disown Drake, and he'll still survive because the reality of the matter is, white people, when they buy, they buy. They really, really support. Let me give you an example. The reason why Taylor Swift is so amazing, her music's not amazing, but her demographic buys. That's what it boils down to. They buy their stuff. They don't bootleg their stuff. They buy the product. So the problem with Tyler is that you don't have that white demographic. You're an immigrant that is kind of being introduced to the American scene, and I understand what they were trying to do there, but there's two things that were going wrong for her. Number one, you're alienating your demographic. Her trying to act like she's Rihanna before she's Rihanna, that was her number one mistake. Like she's other than Breakfast Club, she's definitely hasn't like resonated with black people or our culture or African American demographic. The reason why Cardi B resonated with a lot of with a lot of our cultures because she was a Bronx baby, and she was like that underdog story. She was authentic. Now we've seen she's almost been 8-10 years in the game. Her music's absolutely terrible. And even when I was doing the metadata for WAP, what you need to realize, Grammy is just a promo reel. You know what I'm saying? At that time when COVID was happening, Julia Jones was very nervous because, they make most of their money from touring. And when they shut that down, basically major record labels are still trying to figure out this new paradigm that's happening.
Okay, I'm gonna have to have you land shortly because there's some things I want to respond to.
Right. So what I'm saying is that the reason, you got to understand that, this is what's happening is that the major record labels are trying to force feed or industry plant, an artist, and it's just not. You can't do that anymore. Even the whole kind of celebrity fandom, like Mariah Carey or Michael Jackson or Janet Jackson, that era is over. It's a lot different. So there's a couple factors that are happening right now. With her is that they're trying to introduce African music, Afrobeats, Amapiano, and it's simply not working because one, she's alienating that demographic, thinking she's kind of above them. Number two, you don't have the white demographic to lean on. That's number one. Number two, you're like, there's not going to be a Michael Jackson in this type of era. So that's. Yeah, so that, and number three is that the major record labels don't have that gatekeeping hold like they used to because the landscape is a lot different than it was 10 or 20 years ago.
Okay. Now, you said a lot, okay? You said a lot. Now, the first thing is that if you want to make the argument that being, I guess, relevant in the music industry today is different. I will agree that it is different. Is it more difficult? That's a matter of where you're going, what your goals are, and kind of that's a matter of opinion. That's circumstantial if it's more difficult or less difficult. Now you're saying that the best music and all that stuff comes from Africa. I would have to strongly disagree with you because
That was more
hold
of a
on, listen.
subjective. That was
The
more of a
data,
subjective.
hold on, David. The data and the data shows, okay, and we actually see the fact that the Black American music is the music that's most replicated globally, not just in America and Africa. You can even go to China and see Black American music. Now, you want to talk about percussions and drums and things like that.
And where does the root of that come
That's
from?
existed hundreds of years, but the thing is that that's not just the thing. Drums have been around for a very, very long time, and a lot of people have had drums, and a lot of people have had percussions and things in their music. But what's interesting is Black America, because of our culture, we've turned that into a different formula. There's a different soul, if I could use that. There's a different rhythm to our music, whether that's R&B, hip hop, blues, jazz, gospel, country, all of these genres. There's a soul and there's a rhythm, and a taste to our music that funk. A lot of people rock and roll. A lot of people say there's a soul and a rhythm to our music. Even if we all use the same instruments, you're not getting the same product. All right, that's like you can give on a cooking show, you can give chefs, a line of chefs, the same ingredients and the same thing, and but the chefs come up with different dishes. All right, our dish is different because we make it differently. Our culture is different. So just because there might be percussions that pre-exist Black America doesn't mean that they use it the same way. All right. And this goes to show why everybody is copying us, because Tyla is not coming here replicating her music in South Africa. Okay, Burna Boy is not coming here replicating his music in Nigeria. Tim's is not coming here replicating her music from Nigeria. Okay, they're coming over here singing like us, dancing like us, rapping like us, doing all these things like us. Akon like us. Okay, so it's our music is the core to all of this. All right. Now when you want to talk about, hold on, when you want to talk about the white demographic of things and the buying power and all of that stuff, and then you brought up Drake, and Drake is really, because his case is a little bit different and deeper, so that might need to be a whole nother live about the whole situation with Drake. But the thing is that we determine relevancy. All right, she came here and she was gassed too much faster than what her music talent really was. Okay, that for you to be gassed, the talent has to meet the amount of publicity. Okay, has to meet the amount of marketing. All right, you can't have the talent or the product be beneath the marketing. You cannot do that. All right, she's too much all over the place for her music not to be that popping like that. She has a couple of trending songs, but overall the music ain't there enough for her to be all over the place like that. All right, and that's the thing. When people look at the actual the substance of an artist is the music, and when people look at the music, people are like, hey, it's not adding up to the big push that she's getting. All right, and if Black people are going to feel like that, then you're going to have the white demographic feel like that first. The reason why Drake does have a big YT fan base, but the thing is that he had to get his fan base from Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne had to get it from Black America. All right, Drake didn't just pop up out of nowhere and white folks started loving him. They don't start gravitating to an artist until much later. We're the foundation of if the artist is going to take off or not. All right, and if you don't take off with us, you're not even going to reach that. I guess you can call it multicultural demographic. Same with Kendrick Lamar. There's a lot of YT people and non-Black people who like Kendrick, but Kendrick's base is Black people. Okay, specifically from Compton. All right, so you got to get that base first. She never got that. All right, they gassed her like she was already this multicultural appealing phenomenon that she was not. All right. And during that time, as she was being gassed up and all that, there was a lot of mistakes that she made, a lot of missteps. Okay, the thing that the color thing that was really the biggest and most prominent. Okay, then it was a thing at the award show, and a lot of people was looking like, okay, I don't know, you acting a little weird. Then it was another thing with you claiming to be a uppity African. So it's like thing after thing after thing after thing. So what a lot of people are noticing, is like, okay, Tyler, there's a lot of flags on the play, and you not really reaching this touchdown. Like people are gassing you up like you this great player, and you ain't really got no points on the board, and you got a lot of flags on the play. So that's the combination of all of those things are why she's at this point where she's at right now.
Afro Elite, do you mind if I rebuttal to what you just said?
What do you disagree with?
Sincerely disagree. What I'm saying is
Okay,
that,
hold on.
like,
Let me touch on something else real quick. When you talk
okay.
about hip hop is dying, no, it's not. No, it's not. Music genres evolve, and certain people's tastes in certain things evolve, but no, it doesn't die. Okay, country is still a phenomenal music genre, and country is way older than hip hop. So is gospel. People still buy gospel artists and albums and stuff like
So
that.
you're
And
disagreeing
that
that
goes back
genres
hundreds.
don't have life
Hold on,
cycles?
that goes back hundreds of years ago. Okay, music is like art.
Wait,
Sometimes art has.
how?
Listen,
What's 100? What
hold
genre is
on. I'm
100 years
trying.
old?
Stop. Music is an art form. Okay, sometimes there's highs and lows. Sometimes people follow trends and not. But the art in and of itself, the genre in and of
Afro
itself,
Elite, you
isn't
do
going to
realize
disappear.
recorded music is only less than 150 years old, right? A little
You
bit
said
less than
what?
that.
I didn't say recorded music. I said music genre, period. Music, period. Okay? People were doing country before there was recorded country. Do you not know that? People were doing gospel or singing gospel before there was recorded gospel. Did you not know that? People were playing the piano and instruments and stuff
Gospel wasn't
before.
invented until
No,
ragtime, and
gospel,
then after
people
ragtime,
have
then
been
jazz.
singing. Do you not know how long people have
Ah,
been singing in church, dude? Are you serious? Are you that
right.
ignorant to music that you don't know that people have been singing in
It
churches
has
Where
nothing
for
to
you
a
do
from
with
very
it
again?
has
long
nothing to
time?
do with it has nothing to do with ignorance. Like
No, no.
Sir,
there's an
sir,
evolution
hold
Everything
of
on,
that
music.
sir,
I'm
sir,
saying,
sir.
There's
stop.
an evolution of
Dude,
music.
Hold on, sir.
And
Stop,
without
dude.
Hold
ragtime there
Stop,
on,
wouldn't be
sir.
no
stop.
gospel.
Because
Say something, please.
That's a
you're trying too hard
lie.
to prove a point that's incorrect. Okay, people have been
Correct.
doing these.
It's not
Stop.
my
No,
opinion.
no,
That's
it's no. The point is
Stay
incorrect.
on mute, sir.
These art forms have existed before they were ever even recorded. Okay, so these art
okay. So
forms,
would you
people are
say
not, stop it, dude.
No,
Because when I'm proving
stop.
you wrong, you want to come off the mic, and I listen to your whole spill. All right, these art forms have existed for a very long time. People are going to start, maybe go on to another thing, but people are always going to come back. These genres aren't going to disappear. You've never These genres have existed for a very long time in our culture. All right, so for you to make it seem
Right.
like, well, the hip hop is kind of playing out. No, it's not. No, it's not playing out. There's different trends and different things in hip hop, but as far as hip hop as a music genre, it's not disappearing anywhere. That's incorrect. Now, what's happening
Can I
Right.
right
say something,
now
my brother,
is that,
please?
No,
hold on,
Rossetti.
stop it,
Wait a minute.
but objectively, Ron, I'm
everybody
literally
stop,
looking at
everybody
ChatGPT right
stop,
now. It
everybody
was
You
stop,
gospel
can't
was
do
around the
that.
stop. Okay, Chat GPT is not a hit.
Yeah,
Stop
I
it,
just
dude.
looked it up in ChatGPT.
Okay, you're gonna leave because if you keep, you're triggered because you were incorrect. You're incorrect. Okay, is Chat GPT gonna tell you people only started singing when people got the ability to record singing? Do you think Chat GPT is gonna tell you that people weren't singing and making music before they could record it? Do you think Chat GPT is gonna tell you that? Because that's what I just said. People were singing and dancing and making music before they had the ability to record that. All right. People were playing instruments before they had the ability to record those things. Okay. People have always done that. People will always do those things. So the excuse that hip hop is dying out, no, it's not. Hip hop is a global phenomenon at this point. All right. something that people said was going to die out. It clearly didn't. Hip hop is a global phenomenon, so we're
Can I
not
say
going to sit
something?
here and do that.
Can I say
Hold
something,
on, no,
sir?
it's not your turn. It's not your turn.
So, Afro, I want to say this. The other night we were in Isha's live, maybe about 3 weeks ago. Do you know she played a Negro spiritual slash gospel song from the 1600s? And I was floored. I was floored. And I got a mama who sang in the church. Okay? So, gospel music or whatever that man was saying didn't happen until ragtime. That's false. That's false. And the reason why we are so powerful when we sing that the African said he don't want to hear all those runs and stuff is because he don't understand the soul of having to be in the KILLING fields together and using the music to go on. As far as the drum set, Afro, they did have a form of hand drums, but they were taken away from us on the plantation because the power of the ancestors when they drummed, right? And so then years go by, and then I forget the man's name, and Chief Vez isn't here. He creates the modern day drum set. And then China also had a form of drums. There is something called symbiotic. And that means that I could be here in America and somebody in the UK. It's sort of like a spiritual level. We're doing the same thing at the same time. You gotta stop like Africa's this deity and everything came out of her when Africa isn't evolving the way we are. Cut it out. Y'all
Here's
act
the
like Black Americans were twiddling their thumbs until y'all came over, and that's just not the case.
everything he from damn near start to finish. Everything he said was wrong. From start to finish, everything he said was pretty much incorrect. And I listened and I listened and I listened and I listened from start to finish. I really can't remember one correct thing he said, to be honest. But we're going to continue. I appreciate everybody's patience. Let's get to Afro Queen.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing?
Delineation is, wasn't he up here first
No,
before
Afro
Afro
Queen
Queen came
was.
up? No, okay.
Well, the thing about recording, granted they didn't have machines to record, but they still recorded their music on paper because how do we know that classical music was like dun 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 dun? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his point was with that, but anyway, I feel like the problem with Tyler. First of all, the way she comes off, she reminds me of those uppity Africans who think they're better and like who come here, undermine us and like disrespect us. And that's really what she reminds me of. Like everything is like, yeah, whatever, whatever. I have confidence. And it's like you don't have to say you got confidence a million times. People will just see it. And she's trying too hard. I get it. She young, she in her early 20s. She thinks she cute, she popping whatever, but it's like at the same time you don't have to act the way you do, like how the way she had that what was it, that MTV award when she
Mm-hmm.
was like it's too heavy, hold it. It was like, girl, because like you could like I could see if those were like actually her friends. You could tell those were not even her friends and they really didn't fool with her like that. Like she just threw the whole vibe off. Like that's what kind of threw me off. And then it was
Mm-hmm.
like
It caused an awkward moment. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, that, and then it was like the whole thing with. First of all, I'm kind of shocked y'all didn't bring this up about the Breakfast Club after that happened. Instead of, first of all, you didn't even address it, so you should have just kept your mouth shut afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
You go on Twitter cussing everybody out, talking about, oh, shut the F up. I'm a Zulu. I'm this. I'm that. I'm black. I'm Indian. I'm this. I'm that. I'm that. I'm this. It's like, yo. First of all, you should have said that on the Breakfast Club. Second, don't be cussing people out because people clocking your tea. And she gives very much that I'm gonna claim 512 things plus black so I could claim that I'm black to get in the black spaces. That's what it's coming off as.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just she just comes off very disingenuous. Like, when she went viral for her song Water, I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. And then when she got nominated for a Grammy, I was just kind of like, I didn't think she was going to win. I just thought, oh, they just trying to get her popping. I ain't see no wrong with it. I thought DeVito was going to win because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
his song with Chris Brown, like they should have won. And just
Yeah.
and it's like, and that's an actual Afrobeat song. Like, so you going up against Davido, Burner Boy, you going up against all these actual Afrobeat artists. No one knows who the hell you were, and you won, and then people in the comments like, well, she been out for 4 or 5 years in Africa. I'm like, okay, what that got to do with American? This ain't no African award. This is an American award. Like, I just don't understand how they pushed her like this.
And let me add something because the other guy said a lot. And he wasn't allowing me to land. Let me add something too. The
Right.
whole, well, the America understands that Afro beats is the next thing, and they want to colonize Afro beats or whatever the case is. You can't really make that argument when African artists are really not trying to make Afro beat music.
Yeah.
Only a handful of people are trying, and most African artists are coming over here trying to make Black American music. And let's be honest, a few years ago, there was a really big push for Afro beats. Everybody was kind of on the Afro beat trend, but ain't nobody really on that no more. A lot of people make Afro beats out to be bigger than it is. Afro beats ain't really, and no disrespect, you can like whatever you want to like. I'm gonna be honest, but folks gassing Afro beats like it's the next hip hop. It's not. Can let it. The numbers have been out long enough. Afro beats has been out long enough for us to see the trends in like Afro beats is not gonna get up there. I'm not saying Afro beats is gonna disappear. There's always probably gonna be a demographic of people who like Afro beats, but is Afro beats gonna be the next hip hop or replacement of hip hop or anything like that? No,
Yeah, cause like
no.
my husband, he's Nigerian, and like I done heard a lot of the African music, and I'm like, this sound like literally an African man in Chicago. I'm like, it was giving King Von, like it was giving King Von,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the thing. Like he was like, oh, hip hop is going out. No, like where? Where? Because I'm like, are you kidding me? You know Drake is going to perform for the what was it, the World Cup. I didn't realize these foreigners was crazy over soccer the way they are. Because literally the soccer players are billionaires. They make stupid amount of money. But I'm like, the fact that Drake is literally finna perform for the World Cup, it says a lot. I'm like, hip hop is not going nowhere. They love hip hop. The problem is the black demographic. We getting sick of hip hop because we getting tired of like the King Von music and the drill music. Now I'm getting sick of that. I want to go back to like how it was back in the '90s, where you could just where you had like the Queen Latifahs and you had like people actually talking about real stuff and telling real stories. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're not talking about nothing today.
I think, and that might need to be another live, right? But the thing is that hip hop has always had violent music. Let's be honest. Hip hop has always had music in general. There's always been violent, inappropriate, raunchy music, sexual music, and all of these music genres. The thing is, the past we used to have a balance in the music genre that we don't have now. Okay, now is this big push of one, because drill music and all of that these are, in trap music, these are like subgenres of the hip hop. Okay, if hip hop is an umbrella, drill is like a category under the umbrella. But you got drill music and trap music and all of that stuff, and but you also have conscious music, and that doesn't get enough spotlight. So it's like only this type of demographic of music where you got like King Von or Future or whomever, whatever the case is, and that becomes now the representative of hip hop instead of hip hop being represented as a diverse genre. Hip hop is not represented mainstream as diverse as it used to be. All right, because hip hop has always had that, but the lack of represented diversity, a lot of people are upset with. You know what I'm saying?
Sir, hello, can I say something, sir,
Hold
please?
on, I'm gonna
Who
let
was
you
in
go
front?
right after delineationist, and then I'll let you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good brother. A lot. And salute to you in your space. You always do good spaces and hold decorum and hold peace in the space. So salute to you on that. What up, BX? Salute to you. Thank you for sending me the mic on this too. There's a couple things
Yeah,
that we need to run down about this. Yes, ma'am. There's a couple things we need to run down about this lady named Miss Tyler. First of all, she is a TikTok sensational star. What happened is the industry thought that they can translate those views and stuff into sales. It failed, right? So that's the first and foremost. The reason why she ain't jiving with some of us Negroes, Black Americans, and etc. She downplayed reparations in her song "So Be It." I don't know, or "So It," or whatever, something like that. She says, "I don't need your reparations, boy. Bye." All right. I ran a space about that a couple of years ago. It was like 2 or 3 years ago that song came out, and she was downplaying lineage-based reparations, what we're fighting for here on this soil. So I don't care what sales she gets, she needs to be deported on the next ICE bus train out of here, right? You dissing anything or human rights or anything of our people, you don't need to be here, nor you don't need our support, right? We got to really keep that a full stack. That woman was very disrespectful, downplaying our reparations the way she did, and then put it in a song, and shame on the Breakfast Club for not even calling that out. They sat here and playing pity pat with this woman and thinking everything's cool when it ain't cool. She lucky I don't have a microphone and put it in her face and ask her questions about that. Like real talk, because it's very like these tethers feel it's very acceptable to just come up in our place of where we live at, our homes and etc., and just talk crazy about our think that they have a right to talk about our plight. And she's trying to grift off this term called colored. And she said, well, it's not mine is a OURED and OR. Like she out here thinking because she's colored in South Africa that she could talk about the color situation here in the United States. So I have a deep issue with her even talking to any aspect of our history
Let me
or what
jump
we've
on
been
that
through as a people,
because I
especially
know,
when she's not from the lineage in the community.
let me harp on
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry about
Yeah, because I know some people when she first did that and it went viral. You had some people talking about she's not talking about American reparations. She's talking about South African reparations. That's what she was referring to when she made that song. A lot of people came out in defense of that, saying that she's not referring to American reparations. Here's the thing with that. Let's say, for the sake of the argument, let's just say she wasn't. Do you understand? There's a growing movement for reparations in America, and you're making music in America, even if you're referring to your own reparations, you know what I'm saying? It's going to put a bad taste in people's mouth when you speak disparagingly about reparations in general. Even if you're referring to your own reparations, when you make music and you speak negatively or disparagingly, or if you dismiss reparations public, now you can not want reparations if you want to, but when you publicly disparage reparations, even if it's yours in a country that's fighting for reparations, it's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, because it's going to be seen as if, okay, now you're kind of going against the grain of what the community wants at that point. All right. So a lot of people were looking at it like, okay, no matter how you kind of say it, whether she was talking about this reparations or this, she's still in the wrong for that. And it's a thing of like, and this is something we're saying, y'all coming over here, or you have immigrants coming over here, Tyla, and you just doing whatever you want to do. And we have a custom here, and you kind of just going however you want to go about stuff, and you're burning bridges in the process. Everything you do is kind of making people side eye you. It's not one or two things. People were saying earlier in the live that we were hating. No, it's not one or two things. It's like everything she does. Folks is side eyeing her like, why are you saying that? Why are you doing that? And she only been around for a couple years. She ain't been around for super. I can almost see if you talking about Drake. Drake been around for over a decade now. Drake been around for a long time, and he has a lot of controversies. She got a lot of controversies, and she ain't even been around that long. And it seems like every single thing you doing, folks is side on you.
The thing is, she's talking about Black American folks. We're the only people in the diaspora that got called boys, right? Even from a governmental standpoint. So I know she's talking about some Negroes. She's talking about Black American folks. She ain't talking about them people out in
No,
Africa.
I'm not
And
saying what she's talking. I'm saying what
but
the
no, no,
pushback
no,
was
no, no,
going to
no. I
say.
just
What she was talking about. I'm giving either or. She was wrong for that.
Okay, yeah. But I took it as she talking about some Negroes. She talking about Black Americans because we have fought not to be called boys, right? I'm from that. I'm a little bit older. I'm about to be pushing 40s. So I grew up in an era where we used to fight over that type of stuff. So when I hear this little light-skinned little lady talking this nonsense, saying I don't need no reparations, boy, bye. I'm looking. She's saying that to my face and being disrespectful. That's why I was not feeling her from up Jump Street. All right, that was the reason why I was on her neck at the beginning. Like this heifer said this crazy stuff here. Oh well, and this is at the same time in South Africa you had that goofy fashion designer that was making those nooses, right? And she ain't called them out about that nonsense. See, this is the reason why we don't really rock with her, because when there's injustice that her people does against our community, and when our community don't like it, she's silent on those things. Right at that same time, when she was downplaying reparations, you had this fashion designer that was making the noose necklaces or noose neckties out there and saying that, oh, this is some normal fashion, yada yada yada. Y'all Negroes and Black American people are too sensitive. Yeah. I remember that specifically because that really rubbed me the wrong way as a Negro, as a Black man. It really rubbed me the wrong way. So those are the two things that I wanted to chime in about, and just about their culture and how they move in South Africa. And her trying to put her colored experience on top of the colored things, because we had to deal with the colored drinking water fountains, all right? We had to deal with you colored, you can't go here, all right? We don't know what she's talking about over there on the other side of the pond. And she need to keep whatever she think that she knows about being colored. Keep that in South Africa. Don't bring that nonsense over here unless you know our history. You better come correct when you're talking to us Negroes and Black American folks.
Can I say
Because
something,
people,
please?
hey, man,
hold
I
on.
patiently waited, homie, and I didn't interrupt anybody. I was patiently waiting. Y'all tethers be out of pocket on this panel. No disrespect to my man Afro, because y'all just think y'all could just come up and say anything and disrespect Black American folks who had actually paved the way for y'all little cowards. And y'all don't stand for nothing. This is the reason why she ain't getting no respect, because she don't stand for nothing. Her lyrics don't stand for nothing. She had no soul in her music. It is what it is. That's the reason why she got 37K units being sold when you're supposed to be a multi-million-dollar platinum selling artist. And see, this is what happens when you got these whack TikToks. See, people think that these TikToks, these you have an influence. Influence don't transfer into sales like that. And they got these other people got them gassed up and in the wrong way in the industry, and shame on them. They just don't know the game. They need to go back to the basics. That means actually having a footwork, actually creating a buzz, actually building a clientele base, something that she knows nothing about, because they don't have no A&Rs in these positions anymore. They fired all the Black A&Rs from some of these positions. But I don't want to go too deep about this, because you got these bunch of fake tethers that might take notes and try to hijack what I'm saying to try to close the door on our people. But the real people know what's up. The real people who got people that work in Bad Boy and all these other type of things, they know what's going on. They know what's going on. So salute to you. Great topic. I hope that y'all have enough decorum and respect this man's house. It's not your house. This is the Negroes and Black Americans in the FBA house.
Now,
Salute to you.
thank you. Somebody in the chat room said 37K units isn't good to y'all. 37K is impressive numbers. Those are great. Maybe you can't see because the prompt is small. That says 3.7, not 37. That's 3.7K. That's not 37K. It's 3.7K. All right. If she did 37K, we couldn't really make this space now, could we? But she didn't. She didn't get close at all. She got 3.7. That's a big difference. Let's get to, you've been waiting. You really want something to say. Rossetti.
It was about time. Yes, I listened to you all speaking. First of all, you gotta know that
Where you, you've been with us before. Where are you from again? I forgot.
I'm from Panama, a Panamanian Costa Rican.
Okay, Panama. Okay.
I'm from where Pop Smoke come from.
All
I'm
right.
from where DJ Clue come
Okay.
from.
What do you have to say?
You want me to keep going?
No. What do you
All
have to
right.
say?
What I have to say, you got to remember, America, United States, was the last place black people get freedom. That's number one. All
That's
right?
not really true, but okay.
Let me speak. Let me speak my mind, and then you can cut me off and whatever you are saying. First of all, we know was the Haitians was the first free black people nation. All right. After America, after Haiti, we know Colombia, where I'm from, was the second one to free up black people. All right. The third
Okay.
one.
No, no. Well, we're
Let
not
me
gonna.
let me speak. Let
No,
me speak.
no, because you're completely off subject. Okay. Tyla is not Haitian or Colombian or from the Caribbean at all, and this is about her
No, the
album sales.
reason, you know why I'm
So
saying
what are
that?
you talking about?
You know why
What
I'm
are you
saying
talking
that?
about? You're
All
no,
right.
no, you're talking about a different subject.
All right.
And then
No,
when I
let me
say
go
get
back
on
to the
subject, you
subject.
say don't
Let
cut
me
me
go
off.
back.
Talk about the subject, sir.
All right, let me go back to the subject. When it comes to music, all right. You are talking about beat. Afro beat is a combination of R&B, reggae, and African music. It's
Okay.
three in one. All right, that's number one. First of all, and we know the music in United States was weaponized from the beginning. Because you all keep talking about culture. Culture, the white man culture. Because you all just sing for the white man. You all work for the white man. So what fucking culture you are talking till this day? You are still working for the goddamn white man.
Nobody
So don't tell me
interrupt.
about no
Nobody
culture.
interrupt. Let
You
him
all no
go.
got
Let
no
him go.
fucking culture.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Keep going.
You
Keep
all no
going.
got no culture. Right now, most of the rappers is gays, faggots. That's the
No, you
culture
can't
you're
say
talking
that.
about.
No, no, you can't be doing that now.
Why you
Lot of
can't
them
do
are
that?
tethers too. Hold on,
Don't
Why you
don't
son.
do
can't do
They're
that.
that? Because you
tethered.
are
Hold on.
support the
Let him continue
faggots.
to go on his rant.
You all
Cause you
support the faggots, and then you all want to come and talk like you all is the
okay
one
now
running
now
rap.
now because no, you're not gonna do that now. We're not gonna have you there that doing
They
that.
won't let me report him.
We will not have you doing that.
Tap the screen up, y'all. Share the live out. Let's show TikTok we are giving engagement. Um, so I want everybody to understand when they say hip hop is unaliving or hip hop this and hip hop that. There's a lot of tethers in hip hop now too. Okay, so we got to understand it has. It's not a lot of. Well, I can't really say that. Maybe y'all are thinking about the traditional form that was in the north. Up here, there's a lot of tethers in here. Cardi B tether, right? K Flacco or whatever,
Twice.
whoever his name is, tether, 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 tether. And they don't understand the true elements of hip hop because everybody think a written is a freestyle. Like y'all got to cut it out.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say that, and I'll land.
Yeah. But you see how about now? We didn't say anything that could be found to be. We're not even talking about the Caribbean. That's the crazy thing. We're not. Tyler is not Caribbean. So why is the Caribbean even being brought up right now? She's not Caribbean, but you feel some type of way that we're speaking about somebody who's not Black American, which is what we're saying that y'all immigrants. Wow, come on now, it's in a public bathroom. Y'all immigrants tend to see yourselves as immigrant first. So if y'all see any criticism of an immigrant, y'all jump on the front lines. There's no reason for you to be that triggered at all. Okay, talking about our culture, our culture, our culture, and this is the culture you talking about, and the culture you trying to defend ain't doing that well. The culture you are trying to defend is not doing that well. You can talk about us all you want to, but then when we compare apples to apples, we is doing way better than y'all. So y'all got to get it together. Y'all don't have no right to criticize nobody. But if y'all want to defend, y'all, somebody in the chat room's like, yeah, Africans and Caribbeans. Where's the African and Caribbean unity with Tyler? She needs some of that. She needs some help over there. Come on. Africans and Caribbeans, y'all want to have somebody back, but when it comes to actual support, y'all don't be there. Where's all that support at? Okay, let's get to Phoebe the Bee.
Phoebe baby. Um,
Okay.
just wanted to say I like your live and thank you for BX up here. She be getting them under control. I
Thank
wanted to
you.
say um the difference between us in America is with the history of, you know, recently people saying I'm biracial, I'm this whatever. Back in the day when people were biracial, they knew who their community was and who was holding them down. They knew who they were.
Mm.
They was light skinned, but they knew it unless they could pass. They knew who they were. And we knew who they were, and we knew they were our family. And I see the difference over there in Africa. The fact that they have to have a subsection of you're African, you're colored, and you're white. It goes to show that you ain't even claiming your peoples, who's half. You're not even. They don't even claim them. That they have to have a different category. And then that category, either because of their caste system, they already think they're better. So I don't know why these African people in here trying to claim her, because they don't claim them. And you are correct about her not knowing our culture, coming over here talking about that. They don't know. They don't know our culture. You better learn the slang, the terms, whatever you got to do if you want our people to get on with you. And for her, I've been saying this for a minute. Social media and TikTok are for people who always wanted to be famous and be on TV. Now you can do it on your own and get your followers and stuff. Back in the day, you had to have your fan base, your hood had to know you. You had to get put on. Now I'm TikTok famous and I can get out here. And she's very clueless. And the guy down here at the bottom, delineation, I like what he was saying, because she was talking to us. She was. She knew exactly what she was talking about. She knew exactly what she was doing. And the thing about it is, like a lot of Africans, they can't never be forward and direct. Say what you mean and mean what you say. If you that bad, you will still keep your fan base. And that's what I wanted to say.
All right, thank you. We got a lot of new people on here, so I appreciate everybody's patience. Let's get now to uh how do you see that name? A color girl.
You doing? Hey,
Good.
BX. That's my girl. Um, so how are you? I'm good. It's Shaditra. And it's Ocala, because that's my hometown.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say, I had like notes on Tyler. That guy that was up there ranting, not the last one that was doing all that cursing with them slurs,
Mm-hmm.
but the one that was ranting before, the Hispanical one, that one.
Mm-hmm.
He was really typical of what we see now with Tethers and those folks, them immigrant folks. It's like they want to say that our genres are being deceased, or I don't know how you could say it here.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that because they're praying for our genres to just go away, since we won't allow them to take it. So it's like, it's basically, if we can't steal it, we want it to cease to exist. And it's not going to happen, but that's literally how hateful and grudgeful hearted these people are. They feel entitled to everything we create because they're not capable of creation. They do not evolve. They're not industrious. And they want anything we create, they feel entitled to it. And because now our people are delineating, they're closing the door. The door is closed, in the words of Nene Leakes. Now it's like, well, now we're just going to say that your stuff is going away. It's not going to survive. It's going to survive. We are survivors. We've survived literally everything. So, him, I just counted him as a pitiful person. It just kind of is what it is. When it comes to Tyla used social media to get attention. The problem is she wasn't smart enough to capitalize on it before she started taking her mask off and showing people just how much disdain she had for Black American folks. See, she jumped the gun and she spoke too soon. All that colored this, colored that, and oh, I'm from South Africa, it means something different. It means the exact same thing it meant here. We at one point were under that caste system very heavily. Some of y'all are very aware of the Blue Vein Society and how some of the people in this country who were mulatto or mixed race were treating Black people. Back in the day, if y'all look up Blue Vein Society, you'll see some stuff that's very unflattering in our own history, and how they were attacking Black American men for even looking at their daughters because they considered themselves to be a separate group from Black people. That's a part of our history. It's unpleasant, but it don't make it any less true, you know?
So we knew what it meant when she said it, but it's the talking down, the constant talking down they do to people who have literally lived out the experiences that they're currently living, and we've overcome them. They're still in them. These people are a good 50 to 60 years behind us, the whole continent. Things that we've overcome, some of the colorism issues, some of the caste system issues, the issues of getting all of our people to wake up and understand who our open enemies are, they still have not figured it out. They're still crowning clear people as chieftains and kings in their freaking villages. These people are not, they're not where we are. And unfortunately, they may never be. And that's not our business, and we can no longer afford to care. But she jumped the gun with the colored stuff, and it means something different, and y'all don't understand. We understand your caste system. We understand that you think you better than the people that's online attacking us for you. We understand that, even though they don't. Her fan base also further alienated her from the American market because they went online and immediately let loose with some of the most anti-black slurs and microaggressions you've ever seen. I know Klansmen that would have been impressed with the level of anti-black racial aggression that was just bombarded at Black Americans on Twitter and other social media spaces. Her fans did her no favors. They did her no favors. Then to watch her behave herself the way she did on the Breakfast Club and the way she did at that award show and had the audacity to, here, hold this. How dare you? She knew what she was doing. She was displaying the privilege that she has in South Africa because of that little messy color, and didn't realize that privilege don't translate over here on this landmass. It blew up in her face. And when she got the backlash, she refused or was incapable of being self-aware and correcting herself or even offering an apology, even if she didn't mean it. Instead, she doubled and tripled down online talking about, I'm an uppity African. Well, good luck with that, sugar. Because, see, they may like you, but they don't have the money to spend. Money don't fold and spend like American money over there. Because the people who are supporting her over there are jumping online to insult us with discount data cards for their little raggedy cell phones, for their secondhand and third-hand cell phones. They can barely keep their lights on. Some of them people is only eating chicken once a year at Christmas. They can't afford to keep money in your pocket. See, the people you needed to finance you are the people that you thought it was okay to marginalize and insult. So now that they sit up, oh, the African and Caribbean, well, God bless you. God bless your cotton picking heart, because you're going to need them. And they're going to all need jobs. And you better hope that some of your fan base survives these ICE raids so they can still make money in America to give to you. Because if they go home, you really going to be in trouble. And they love to say, well, we us Africans will support her. Then do it. We'd love to see you do it. The problem is she didn't want to be in your market. She broke her neck to be in the American market. Your market isn't enough. And my notes on Afrobeats real quick. Afrobeats cooled. They were depending on Black American artists to do features with them, and they were depending on Black American audiences to say that they were cool. We determine what's relevant. We determine what's cool. And once we rode the wave, enjoyed it a little bit, and now we're bored. We're really bored of the Afro beats of it all because it all sounds the same. It's only so much bump, ticky, bump, bunky, bump, bump, bump that we want to hear. Now we're over it. And once we became bored, now it's cooled off. You're never going to get the global acclaim you're looking for without attaching it to Black American people. And they know it. And that's why they're mad, and they're going to stay mad. And that's all I got. But I love your panel. I'm going to jump back down so you can bring somebody else up. I love you to death. I love to unalive. And I love my BX, and I'm going to head back to the comments. All right, y'all?
Thank you. Thank you.
Love you too.
I want to say,
Thank you.
just to harp on that, because we still got a lot of people come up, and I want to talk on another subject later on. But I want to get to as many people to discuss this as possible. Her fan base, extremely toxic. And the thing is that because you have fan bases that are toxic and that do too much, okay? People talk about Nicki Minaj's fan base. People talk about Beyonce's fan base. People talk about that stuff all the time, right? The issue is that let me see, recent guest. I gotta get somebody new up here. Um, your fan base don't really got nothing to really ride on. That's the thing. You ain't been in the game long enough for your fan base to be as toxic as it is. Okay? You ain't been in the game long enough, and I'm not, because people be all like, no, a lot of other artists got toxic fan bases, and yeah, there are some fans that do too much, but the thing is, Tyler, you ain't been in the game long enough, or you have not contributed anything enough for your fan base to be doing the most, and her fans were absolutely doing the most, being very disrespectful, being very racist, being very xenophobic, okay? You know what I'm saying? They were saying they were repeating a lot of the damn racist stereotypes and insults and all of these things. And you doing this off of an artist just because she's South African, not because of really what she contributed to the music genre. Okay? And I'm not even trying to defend anybody's toxic fan base, but your toxic fan base ain't even got a reason for being there. And when the thing is that nobody tried to prey on Tyla's downfall. That's the thing. Nobody was like, oh, I hope she falls. I hope she fails because she's South African. No one was like that. But every time we said, you know what, I think Tyla should stop doing this, or I think Tyla should do this, I think Tyla should do this, her fan base came up like, oh, shut up, you black American. You don't know anything. Y'all ignorant. Y'all dumb. Every single correction that we tried to give to Tyla, it was met with immediate hostility from her fan base every time. And it got to this point where nobody can say anything to or about her without her crazy ass toxic fan base running and playing defense for really no reason. And now look, where's her fan base got her now? Y'all defending her. She wasn't what y'all thought she was. She wasn't the it girl y'all were making her seem like. And you came in with the xenophobic, anti-black defense of Tyla, talking about we ignorant, we don't know anything, and then bringing up slavery and all of that. When we were trying to prevent her downfall from herself, we were trying to prevent her from destroying her own career. But the fan base was too damn toxic and didn't let that happen. And this is because, and she went along with it. We ain't gonna let her slide because she was along with the program. She was along with it. All right. So we're not gonna make it seem like it's the fan base. Her and the fan base was right on the same frequency. Okay. And this is what happened. This is what happened. Let's now get to Black issues.
Yo, how y'all doing, man?
How you doing?
Hello to the panel and everything, man. Yeah, man, that guy was a clown, man. I don't know who that dude was. Some pseudo armchair, I guess, musical style. Because, I mean, this guy could be debunked many ways. Just from the point of him talking about even the drum and all that. Because, see, they didn't allow the slaves to have drums. Because they knew that the slaves could possibly pass on messages with the drums. So they didn't allow slaves to have drums, excuse me. They eventually, took drums away from them. At first, they probably had drums. They allowed some drums, but they knew that these slaves were contacting and communicating with the drums, especially the ones who came from the motherland, and especially the ones who were of native descent, because they forgot the natives here also use drums. Mm-hmm. But the point I'm making is when they took the drums away, that's when we started doing hand bone. That's where the hand bones start coming in. The different beat patterns on our bodies and singing the different songs, in which hand bone kind of helped usher in other songs as well. Other genres. The hand bone kind of usher in what we know as bluegrass. So it's like with the brothers saying that all musics came and everything started from Africa. That's totally untrue. Because even Afro beats, if you want to get technical, Afro beats is basically all American, and you can start off with the so-called godfather of Afro beats, or which is Fela Kuti. Fela Kuti, he got his game from Gillespie, Bird, and Miles. These are the people who gave Fela Kuti the game. Fela Kuti also got his knowledge of Black Power and the Black Power movement here in America, and he took that same game back over to Africa with him. The game that he got from Miles and Coltrane and people like Gillespie, that's how he started Afro beats. That particular jazz, that bebop jazz genre that he learned here in America. You know, I forget the sister that brought him up on game, who gave him this book to read, and he didn't even know much about his own heritage over in Africa until he came to America. And so he's sad and mistaken when, you know, he's trying to say that, you know, these musics are the start of what goes on here in America as far as our music, because even if you take Afro beats to today and you bring it up today's time, people like Burna Boy and Wiz Kid and all these cats, all they're doing is just using revamped. They're just the African puff daddies of today. They're just taking the 80s and 90s songs and just sitting on top of the world with them. You know what I mean? That's all they're doing. That was Burna Boy's major hit. It came from a Brandy song. So these guys aren't creating or engineering nothing new as far as genres of music is concerned, because it's all coming from America. Even reggae, you know, comes from America. The foundation of that. The legendary reggae artists like Leroy Hibbett and Rita Marley, they talk about this in many documentaries way before, you know, the modern times today, and how they emulated foundational Black Americans. And their style were coming from foundational Black Americans. If you look at Bob Marley when they first start off, they look like the Four Tops, him and Peter Tosh and Bunny Wellers. They wasn't, you know, trying to emulate, you know, anything down there. And actually, the only thing that was going on down there, and that actually came from foundational Black Americans, was ska. Ska music came from the big band people like Cab Calloway, you know, and people like that, Duke Ellington. That's what ska came from. All those genres came from here in America. So if you want to get technical, reggae came from ska. Ska came from big band. You know, then when reggae came about, everything basically had its blueprint from America. The ska used the big band, the Cab Callaways, the Duke Ellingtons. Then when reggae music came in, it was using, you know, the blueprint of American early R&B, doo-wops like the Drifters, the Kosas, the Platters, coming on up to, you know, to the Stevies and all that, you know. I mean, even got a song by Barris Hammond and say he wants to rock away to the old songs Aretha Franklin made and all this, you know, and the songs that Stevie made, you know. He says those were the days. It's a well-known song. Anybody who knows reggae know what I'm talking about. So even Barris Hammond got a song about that, who's one of the reggae's most world-renowned artists, how he said those were the days. You know, he wants to sit back and hear the songs that Stevie played. Those were the days. And so how is it that your own artists are acknowledging us, but then you're going to try to say that you're the creators of something? Because, like you say, everything evolves, everything changes, everything has an evolution. And the evolution that we had here in music, not only was it an evolution that was created from us, from Groundation, but it's a music that just took the world. Our country took the world. Jamaican people love country music too, by the way. They love country music. A lot of them don't realize that Conway Twitty and that Buck Owens, they love it. It's the foundational Black American genre. This is why people like Beyonce and them are now trying to reclaim it. People like Shabuzi here in D.C. where I'm at, he's out here sounding like somebody like Garth Brooks or something. You know what I mean? I mean, he's crushing the game right now because the originality and the essence and that Majara spirit, it comes from us. So, you know, that brother was sadly mistaken. And as far as that girl, Tyla, knows I ain't talk much about her. Because there ain't much to say about her. Because, see, I'm a true historian, a true music lover, and I actually know music theory. I actually know how to read music, play music. But this chick ain't never come across my radar. I'm going to be honest with you now. I know about Sincere. I know about Coffee. I know about your girl Tim's and all them, you know, some of the sharper ones out there. But this chick ain't never, ever come across my radar until this here right now today. And the only reason why I got up here is because I heard that pseudo armchair scholar, musician, professor sitting here spewing all this foolishness as if, you know, they started something here. If that's the case, then why would Fela Kuti come here and study under us. Why would your people use Americans' 80s and 90s R&B to make their hits and to do their music? So, you know what I mean? I'll just
Yep.
land right there, man.
Appreciate the history, and this goes to show we know about our history and we know about music. Then I let him speak, and then as I was correcting him, he started getting triggered because they're trying to twist this narrative that first off, our music genre, there's such a desperate urge to replace us. It's insane, and they want to replace us with our music genre, our culture, our food, our everything. They want this to be like the Essence Fest, really, and it's just not happening. It's not
And they
happening.
crying about
It's
that.
not
And they
gonna
crying
happen.
about that. They crying about how
Can I
the
piggyback?
yeah, go ahead, sister.
Uh, yeah, so the woman that I think you was referring to when you brought up Fela Kuti is Sandra Isidore. That was her
Yes.
name. I guess she changed.
Yes. She the
Right.
one put
And
them up
they
on
consider
game.
her the mother of Afrobeats, and she is definitely Black American. And she's the one,
Yeah.
and even Fela Kuti, he speaks about her. So yeah. I just wanted to acknowledge the sister, that's all.
Yeah, but it's like a total
Well,
erasure of our
hold on.
culture.
That's
It's
true.
like it's like they want to be able to say that everything that we do, it has an origin with Africa, and that is not true. We have created things from the creation of this country. People don't understand. This is culture. Let's understand what the word culture means.
Well, we're
Culture
gonna
means
look.
something that exists and something that evolves as life and the sociality of that life, all right, and the people of that region.
Yeah, I'm gonna let
And
you land. I'm gonna let you land on that.
and what they don't understand is Black America's culture not only started when we were reclassified from Aboriginal to Negro and put in the slave with the few Native Africans they brought over here with us, and we amalgamated and we had a whole new ethnogenesis and became the people we are today. But from the beginning of that, you know, I guess you could say incursion, we started everything that is known as culture here in America, and that is shared around the world. And I'm gonna land my plane there.
Appreciate that.
Can I
Appreciate
just add something if you
that.
don't mind?
Hold on, because we had some other people here. So let's get to Sagey Blanco.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
We're good. How you doing?
I just want to say thank you for this platform because one, I feel like you can feel so disoriented as a Black American when you're peeping that things are happening and you're like, is this really happening? Does she really not like Black Americans? Because one, we're so open and accepting of other cultures, even if, we all talk crap about each other across the diaspora, but we're open. There has been plenty of artists from across the diaspora that have come over here. We ran Essence up by Thames. Like, we are always open. So the idea that, this one girl is proving that we're xenophobic. Everything is xenophobic until somebody says something about Black Americans, then it's just an opinion. So that's one. Two, as a songwriter, especially that loves R&B, that's my culture. We have our own issues because our well has been drained by letting everybody in and writing R&B songs and claiming that R&B is just it doesn't have any roots. It doesn't belong to anybody. Everybody in the world makes R&B and B and it's just an open genre. So it's like I'm already disoriented as a songwriter because I'm trying to keep that alive. And then when you have artists that come here, Tyla uses a Black vocal producer. Her songwriter is a Black American. Her choreographer is a Black American. And we don't get any credit. And she goes to the BET Awards, she goes to the awards, and she's like, Africa's up, Africa's up. I always hear commentary about the West will fall. And it does sound like jealousy. At the end of the day, we built this country for ourselves. Everything that we have worked for. And I think a lot of the diaspora ignores that. White supremacy has touched every part of this earth. And yeah, we were able to build something and we're still trying to build it while we're getting murdered in the streets. So when there's this attitude that we're not open, we're not sharing, we're not supportive, we've been the most supportive. Everybody across the diaspora, like you said earlier, gangs up on us. Jamaicans will join with Haitians, will join with Africans to talk about Black Americans. And if we say anything back, it's xenophobic. We supported her. We were open to her. Like I said, she came to this country. She used Tricky Stewart's studio to record her project. We've been more than open. So this rhetoric that we're not a supportive group is annoying. And at this point, we don't even need to be because the way everybody talks about us and treats us and brings up slavery every chance they get, while some people are literally still living in slavery, Africans still ain't got their stuff back from the British. I don't understand where the disconnect is. If you don't like what we do or you don't like any rules, which we barely set, you can go back to your country. You come to America for a better opportunity, whether it's the industry, whatever reason, because we created opportunity for ourselves. We still don't get along with the white people in our country, but we claimed and carved our space with blood, sweat, and tears. Like, and I don't really understand how we're, responsible, even our opinion. Okay, if we don't like her, we're not listening to her, it shouldn't matter, right? Because our opinion doesn't matter. We don't run the world. We don't. So I don't understand why we're even getting blamed or being brought up at all because she's not selling. When we dance to Water, we all said go girl, and we dance to that song, and we dance to everybody that comes over here. And then as soon as we do that, everybody wants to pop out and say we have no culture. They don't want to shout us out. They don't want to show us love. They don't want to say, Black Americans, thank you for what you built over here. So
Mm,
that's my piece. And I try to get it all out in one sentence. But yeah.
mm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the lack of showing respect and paying homage that does, you know, and that's one thing when you talk about the issues when it comes to R&B and this big and our music genre having to be so globalized and popularized and everybody gets to come in and do what they want to do. Notice how country doesn't operate like that. You got YT Southerners who don't like non-YT people in country. They do not like them in country, even though country is not their music genre. They pretty much came and gentrified it, colonized it, and now they're trying to gatekeep a music genre that never belonged to them. So much so that in award shows, they don't recognize non-YT people in country, no matter how much they do, no matter how uh, high the song is on the Billboard, no matter how great the album sales are, they will refuse, even if it's Beyonce, even they will refuse to recognize her as a country artist and grind their teeth if she gets an award, trying to gatekeep a music genre that they don't even own. And it was originally ours. And they're trying to gatekeep us from our own music genre. The same thing with rock and roll. And now, anytime a black person does rock and roll, they make it seem like we're taking something from them when we're the ones who started that, you know? So, they do that when it comes to our stuff that they've colonized. And then when it comes to the stuff that we still have credit for, we got to share that with everybody. And if we try to gatekeep that, then it's quote unquote xenophobic. So we're not going to go by that standard anymore, that double standard. We can't do that no more. We're gonna get to Moon and then 30 rounds.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. I was just making sure my mic was on. Um, you were so true, even Seiji. I hope I'm saying her name right. What's very sad is everybody acts like they don't realize they have to actually come over to America to even blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you are so great, why not stay in your own country? You know, it's more opportunity here. Duh. Everybody knows that. And it's just the simple fact of before this little EP dropped, my thing is apartheid. Shouldn't Tyla know about that?
That's a good
Like,
point. That's
so
a good say, yeah.
you know what I mean? You know about racism. Don't act stupid. You know how it is effective. Your people are affected. My people are affected. Like, I don't understand when it comes to black people, when we have to stand up for ourselves, when we have to say, this is wrong, wrong is wrong. Nobody ever wants to believe us. And the thing is, I believe strongly black people, Americans, we are very spiritual and people really don't understand that. I knew Tyla was off when she was at those award shows trying to make people hold the award for her and saying, oh, this is so heavy. This is so heavy. Little girl, no, it's not. Like, stop acting like people are your helpers. And to be for real, people also don't realize you have to build yourself from the ground up. Everybody was looking at her as a little baby Rihanna. She had no personality of her own. Americans, if you were not even listening to Afro beats or anything outside of American like music, I'm just going to dumb it down. you would really have no interest. And it's artist development that a lot of these artists do not have. And they don't seem to understand. It's more than looks. It's more than just being cute. It's more than thinking I'm putting a little outfit, you're gonna be great. It's more than just dancing. You actually have to have it. So this is why I feel like her release was whack, because she did not build herself up. Then the racism on top of that did not help.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I strongly feel. Like if Tyler should have learned from her little interviews, you know what, let me go sit back, educate myself, because obviously I'm getting a lot of pushback. My team cannot keep talking for me. I'm an adult. I need to see, why am I getting all this hatred? Because I know artists say like they don't look online, they don't do blah, 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 blah. I know a lot of people. I know personal independent artists. They look at stuff. And if the thing is, if you really want to understand feedback, if you want to understand yourself as an artist, you have to really see what's going to help you build up. And if you don't know how to take constructive criticism, that's the problem right there.
That's true.
She needs to reinvent herself. And I'm not saying she has to step outside of her culture, but she needs to really reinvent herself, mature, come back, make something actually good, because everything is just sounding repetitious. And you're going to have to keep coming back to us Black people to help you. And it's like we get more and more upset because we know you need our help, but you're downplaying us. It's like the same, you're using the same racist trope. And I know this is off topic. I'm going to be really quick. I don't like to judge people. I know what that's like to be judged. And I'm not saying all Africans, but I worked at Amazon for a little brief time. I experienced pure racism. I personally had some people come to me and tell me how they were taught, how they think Black people are in America, how we're lazy, we don't like to work, we don't like to educate ourselves, and that's been pushed upon them with their thinking about us. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's not us. I seen y'all on those little Feed the Children commercials, and it was like, no, that's not us. We're rich, we're not like that. So I'm like, if racism has been pushed on all of us, like, we really need to learn to work together, but we don't really be bothering them. They really bother us. Do you know what I mean? So that's just my point. And I keep seeing people say some of the laziest people I know. We are not lazy. If we're so lazy, why do you come here? Why do you need to work with us?
Yeah, that's true. Let me and I appreciate that. I want to let people know, if I do, after you're speaking, if I do drop you, it's not because I didn't like what you had to say. I'm just trying to get as many people here as possible so we can wrap this conversation up and then get to our next conversation that we're going to be having later on. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with publicity. There's nothing wrong with that, but the publicity, the talent has to match. You cannot be more popular than what your substance is. That has to carry you. All right. If you got a lot of hype, you got to have a lot of talent. And the thing is that you are too new in the game to be having this little contribution in this much publicity. So that was a big issue. And because you had this much publicity, it went to your head, and then you started saying certain things, and people started peeping things out about you. All right, let's get to 30 rounds.
Ask Pig 30.
Go
Y'all
ahead.
tap the screen up, tap the screen up. Okay, go
Yep,
ahead,
yep.
30. Go ahead,
Nah, you
30.
good, BX. It's always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Afro BX, my FBA constituents. Get what I'm saying? The rest of my Black American brothers and sisters. Look, I just want to say this. At the end of the day, right? It's funny to me because these same people were claiming that she was the next Aaliyah. I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to think about that shit. They said this woman was going to be the next Aaliyah. Let that ponder on your mind a little bit. All right, now get back to the subject. Everything my brother Black was talked about when he was right here is true. Everything that Black Americans created when it comes to music comes from joy and pain. Pain and joy. Everything from fucking blues to country to rock to R&B to hip hop. If you ain't got that pain and joy in your blood, of course you're not going to be able to make it. And that's the problem. She thought she was bigger than the program. And I'm glad this happened to her. Some people need to be humble. Get what I'm saying? Especially her and her fan base. They needed to be humble. For them to, this will really piss me off. Okay, you don't want to recognize anybody. You can at least recognize the Black American women who you are copying, who you are mocking, right? You know what I'm saying? These Black American women who you're taking your whole style from, and you're not even giving them credit for doing. That's what really pissed me off. And then for her to sit up here and try to sell us records, you know what I'm saying? When you hear, I never hear Tim's, right? The other Africans saying, you know, stuff like this, or you know, just going off the rails saying crazy stuff, because she knows her market. She knows, Tim's knows, hey, look, I can make stuff happen in Africa, but I know for damn I can't make nothing move without Americans, without Black Americans.
Can I highlight that? I'm gonna let you go, but let
Go
me
ahead,
highlight
bro.
that real quick. When it comes to Tim's is a perfect example. Everybody knows Tim's is Nigerian. Okay, Tim's makes music. There's people who like Tim's music when they go to her shows and buy her. Notice that Tim's doesn't really have a controversy behind her. Notice you don't have people constantly making videos about Tim's and about what Tim's needs to do and all of that stuff. Tim's never really had no big issue like that. Okay? Notice that. So when people say, oh, you're xenophobic, no, because Tim's is fine. Nobody got no issue with Tim's or other African or Caribbean artists like that. So it's not us being quote unquote xenophobic. No, you guys are displaying problematic behavior.
Yeah.
And when you display problematic behavior, and then when we address it, y'all say it's xenophobic. But it's not it's not because we just don't want to support nobody who's not from here, because do you have artists who are not from here and they're doing fine. So I think that was a good point. I just didn't want to lose that, but continue. You got
Now
it.
you right, Afro. Shit, we even sample what we got Black American artists sampling Tim's vocals for hit songs. That was Future song. That's a Black American. You know what I'm saying? So I just want people to recognize, like, especially her fan base. This is what happens when you go against the grain, especially when it comes to our culture that you want to indulge in. You get what I'm saying? You say, oh yeah, you guys know it don't matter. You guys don't have to support her. Y'all ain't supporting her, so who doing it? If we're not the ones at the forefront buying this shit for y'all to play it on the radio, because they can play it on the radio all day. But guess what? If nobody's buying that album, it doesn't even matter. Nobody's streaming that album, it doesn't even matter. And when you get on the wrong side of Black Americans, we got to put our foot down on your ass every time. I'm going to land right there.
Yeah, hey, I agree. Thank you, brother. Let's get to Lex or Les.
Yeah, how y'all doing? I just wanted to reply someone that states that Afrobeats is based on, like,
Now you have an accent. Where you from?
where am I from?
Yeah.
I'm from New York, but I have I'm Nigerian as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was about to say, dude, please don't do that. But all right.
Do what?
The whole I'm from New York. Like I hear you don't have a New York accent. You have a foreign accent. So okay, so I was asking where's your accent from? Like where's your lineage from? But you said it. Okay, you said you're from. What did you say? I just forgot.
I was born and raised in New York, but I'm Nigerian.
Okay, you're Nigerian. Okay, because sometimes folks be playing games and don't want to admit what country they're originally from.
No.
But okay,
I would definitely admit I'm probably from a Niger, so
okay,
I'll probably admit that.
Okay.
But,
All right.
So I just wanted to just basically reply to that person that said, like, Afrobeats is based on Black American music. I think there has to be a lot of research based on, like, the foundations of Afrobeat, right? There's Fuji music that comes from the Southwest Nigeria. There's high life music that comes from the Southeast of Nigeria. So those are like the foundations of Afrobeat. However, there are also Black American influences that come from jazz music and things of that nature. So I really want us to sort of not sort of ignore the other influence within Afrobeat, right? So this thing about, like, Tyla's EP, one thing I would definitely admit, her fans can be a bit toxic. I would admit that, right? However, I think we I think we have to recognize that the world is becoming more global, right? And there is a level of support from other places in the globe, right? We have Korean people copying piano music or Afrobeats. We have people from South America, Brazil, to be specifically, copying piano music and Afrobeats music. However, if you want to sort of get into the American music, there's a level of support you need to have. However, Tyler's music is doing great things in other places of the globe. So yes, she may have sold 3.k units in the US. However, she's doing amazing things all over. Currently, I'm in Lagos right now, right? And she's doing, like, her music is blasting throughout the streets in Lagos,
Okay.
right?
Well, for the sake of the argument, because I
Yeah,
don't have any statistics of how well I don't have any
yeah, that's okay.
statistics of how well anybody's music is doing overseas. All
Okay,
right, with the exception of a very few people. But let's
absolutely.
stick to America, because
Okay,
she's in America. Okay, it's not like she's touring all over the world. She's touring and making music in America. She's marketing herself to the American audience. All right, so let's talk about the fact that the American audience are not being receptive to her music right now.
okay. So the issue is pertaining to, I guess, how she's coming across to Black Americans, right? So there's a lot of things that people reference as her being colored or her as talking about reparations, which was in a South African sense, right? So I want people to recognize, and this is not a bash to Black Americans, right? Black people all over the globe have their own struggles. We all have our own struggles. Me, as someone that's Nigerian, I have a struggle that is very unique to other Black Americans, right? To Black Americans, right? So Tyler singing about her own struggles should not be seen as a sense of, I don't know, being her being uppity to other to Black Americans. She has her own struggle as as a colored person in South Africa. She has her own struggle of her. She has her own struggles when it comes to reparations in South Africa. And I talked as someone who is married to a South African, right? I've been very educated on the struggle within South Africa. So for her to sort of say that, so for some people to say that, oh, she's being uppity because she's singing about her own struggle, I just find that a bit concerning because we
Well, I
all
don't
have
think
our
anybody
own.
was saying she was being uppity because of that.
Okay,
Okay, let's put the events in chronological order,
all right.
because if you don't, it's going to give a disingenuous narrative. People weren't saying she's uppity because of that. She does have her own struggles, and we understand that there are different people who have different struggles around the world, and we do have to respect that. That's
Yeah,
very true. The thing is that when you come to a certain people's country, you can say certain things, even if you're speaking about your own opinion in your struggle. When you come to a different person's country and nation and you say something that the natives find distasteful, you can't say, well, where I come from, this is fine. So I should be able to stand on what I say here, even though you find this to be distasteful or disrespectful. Where I come from, it's okay. But the thing is that you're not where you come from. For instance, South Africa has apartheid. And we also, in America, we also had segregation. And
okay.
it's a lot of Black Americans who don't mind being separated. If I was to go to South Africa and make a song being all like, hey, segregation never bothered me, and South Africans feel some type of way about that because they have gone through a different history of segregation than we did, I can't say, well, no, well, I'm speaking from an American perspective. So, in America, that's what we're on. Well, the thing is, we're not in America. We're in South Africa. So you, as in Rome, you got to do as Romans. All right. So when you come to a certain person's land and nation and you say things that they feel is distasteful or disrespectful, you can't just stand on that and expect people to comply or conform because you're not from that land. You have to. It would be one thing I could almost give it to her if she said, "Oh, I didn't mean no disrespect. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm speaking on my nation or I'm speaking on my experience," but she never did that. It was
Okay,
never no apology.
and
It wasn't
Afrobeat
even a bad PR explanation.
and
It wasn't
Afro
even that. It was just y'all leave it alone.
yeah, and
That's what it
Afrobeat,
was.
like I understand where you're going, right? As someone who was raised in like the Bronx, right? Like trust me, like
God. Hold on.
uh,
Tyler named herself uppity. She tweeted that. We didn't
She
do it.
did tweet that. She did back
And
that
I
up.
thought someone called her
and
uppity,
No,
one
she
moment,
yeah,
one
she
moment.
did.
but someone called her uppity, right?
Uppity
And
might
she
mean
she
something
backed it up.
different to us
Okay,
than
so
you guys.
so if
Yeah.
someone called her uppity, right? Like, what's the wrong with just taking it as it
Okay,
is?
but no, here's the thing, because you're trying to tell the story from a disingenuous narrative. You're trying to say we misunderstood where she came from and called her uppity. No, there are different things that we've articulated through this whole live where she's done things and gave a certain kind of spoiled, bratty, or uppity energy about herself or a vibe about herself. All right. Like an entitlement about herself. And that's why people said that. People said she gives me an uppity African energy. And then instead of saying, "Oh, I'm not like that," she doubled down and she put that in her Twitter bio. All right.
Okay, I'm not really familiar with the whole Twitter stuff because I'm
Okay,
not
well,
on.
you're not familiar, but you tried to defend it.
No, like all I said, if someone called her uppity and she basically said, "Okay, I'm
No,
uppity,"
you no.
I don't know the background
No,
behind
no, that's
what's
not what
going
you
on.
did. Brother, I know what you did. You said that she made a song about her own personal experience and
Yeah,
we called her uppity. That's not how that happened.
that's okay.
Now you're saying you don't know how it happened.
No, all I'm saying is that she made a song about her own struggle, right? Made a song about her own struggle, and I assume that's why people were calling her uppity.
That's not what
That's
you
why.
said, but okay. That's not what you
Okay.
said.
But all I want to say
And
is
that's not people's biggest issue with her.
okay. So
It's
again,
like I said, it's one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing. She has too many red flags to be this new.
okay,
Point blank period.
okay, I hear you, right? But listen, yes, her fans may be toxic, but again, and I do want to say this to everybody here on the live, right? Maybe she has to change her team, but let's give her some grace. She's 22 years old. She's a very young girl. She doesn't know any better. We need to give her.
We're not going to do that.
Wait, hold
How
on.
does she
Let
learn?
me
How does she
please.
learn?
Let me speak. Let
How
me
does
speak.
she learn?
Please, ma'am. May I speak?
I
May I
said, how
speak?
does she learn?
Let's be honest, because you're
I
talking about give her some grace. Ain't
I don't want to
nobody.
hear that
We've been
age.
trying.
I
We've been trying
I
to
I do.
educate Tyla
Okay,
her
I speak.
entire
May I
career,
speak?
and it's been met with us
Brother,
being gaslit.
may I speak? May I
Okay,
speak?
go ahead.
So, as I said before, yes, she may have flopped in America, right? Yeah, she did, right? Again, I don't think that should take away from her success that she's having on the continent, right? If she wants to be successful here in America, she has to sort of change whatever she has going on. I'm not really well informed what she has going on, but again, from the outside looking in from the continent, she's doing amazing things, and I
Okay,
do wish her all the best.
okay.
Hopefully, she
Again,
learns from
here's the
learns
thing,
from
and
this
we're
thing.
gonna move on after this.
Hmm.
You came in here trying to play defense, and then when we got on you about it and we corrected you, now you're trying to talk about you didn't know why she said something or you didn't know what was said. Now you're trying to say, well, let's not talk about how well she's doing globally, or let's not diminish her music globally. Globally, she might be a world phenomenon, but we're not talking about globally. We're talking about in America right now. And in America right now, she is not doing well. She's not doing well as far as the albums. She's not doing well as far as tours, where tours have to be canceled left and right because people aren't buying that. In America, she is not doing that well. She didn't blow up overseas and then come to America. She blew up in America. So the thing is that America is her base, and in America she is not doing that well. And we've been articulating why she's not doing that well the whole
How
time. And you come in trying to play defense, acting as if
how is America
we
a base? If you can just explain that to me.
America. What is her biggest song?
Water
Water. Where did that blow up originally?
originally,
Yeah.
I heard it in Lagos.
Okay, you might
Awesome.
have heard it in Legos, but that song blew up because of America.
Okay.
She was performing that primarily in America first. All right. Now,
Okay.
now I didn't say where she made somebody like South Africa. The song blew up because of America. If Americans didn't like that song, the song wouldn't have blew up. I don't care what nobody says. The song blew up because it was popular in America. Because Americans were making dances to the song. Okay. Now, and y'all, the thing is, y'all want to lie so bad and make yourself so much
Brother,
more
I'm not lying. I'm not
relevant. No,
lying.
I'm talking to the chat room, not you.
Oh, okay.
But y'all want to do that, and y'all want to dismiss the fact that America is what made her what she is. Okay, because if she was doing better in other countries, she wouldn't have came to America. Okay, she came to America is because this is where the base was.
Okay, I do want to say this one thing, right? Yes, if you want to have a more global outreach, yes, you have to be successful in America per se, right? Let's admit that, right? Yet again, but yet again, she's 22, she's doing great
Okay,
things
and you
outside,
okay,
and
okay.
you can give her
Nobody
credit for
is
that.
dismissing any of that.
Mhm.
At the age of 22, that's great. But the thing is that every time we say, you know what? You're falling off, you're making a mistake, you're making a mistake. Here y'all come running defense telling us to back up, and y'all keep enabling her, which is why she keeps making more and more mistakes, digging her own grave in a short career she's going to have. Her career is going to be very short because she's making several mistakes, and every time we address the mistakes that she's making, y'all tell us to back off. So okay then. She's 22 and her career is going to be gone by 25 if she keeps going down this way, if it even makes it down that far. And every time anybody says anything about her, y'all say, leave her alone. Y'all xenophobic. She's only this old. Okay, all right. Okay then. She's going to be a has-been if it's up to you guys. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on to other artists.
All right.
No, we're going to move on to other speakers. I'm sitting up there. Let's get now to Brooks. Bucks. Okay.
I just start off by saying this. The industry, because I work in the industry. When this whole Afro beats thing started to arise, what people don't realize is that the industry works on algorithms, and they work on, based on spikes, right? I would say Tyler was brought to America via the internet, right? So she had hits for our viral song in Africa, in the UK, in Australia, and also in America. So now the American labels want to capitalize on these things, so they go and they sign her to be the first. They wanted to be the first to have, like how American labels did in the past to sign the Beatles before they came to America. These people, they want to be first, right? First and foremost. But yeah, you're right. Her
Mhm.
I would say her publicity team did drop the ball, right? But knowing Tyler, she's 22. She has a little bit of arrogance in her. Not to say that's cool, whatever. But
Mhm.
overall, the internet is the culprit, where people say we need to gatekeep. You're not going to be able to gatekeep with the internet. Nobody can gatekeep. YT can't gatekeep. China can't gatekeep. Nobody can gatekeep with the internet, because at the end of the day, the things that we put on the internet becomes ones and zeros. It becomes data. We're living in the information age. You feel what I'm saying? So anything that we do, anything that we say, anything that we click on enough The computer is going to tell these corporations what we are gravitating towards, and they're going to push an artist or push a type of music. And the reason why they're saying hip hop is dying because the numbers are saying so on the internet. The numbers are saying so. So I don't want people to, every genre of music goes through that. When I was a kid, rock and roll was considered white tea music. When I was a kid, country music was considered white tea music. When I was a kid growing up, I played jazz music. When I was playing jazz, the other kids in the neighborhood were like, "Why are you playing white music for? Why you not doing?"
1 minute. Because did you give your ethnic group? Because I know what you are, and I know why you would think it was white tea music. But we know the roots of rock and roll and country, right? Because you're Haitian, correct?
We're not talking about the roots. We're talking about what people are saying on
Hello,
the ground.
hello,
Yeah, I'm
hello,
Haitian. That got to do
hello.
with
Can you?
anything. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank
I'm
you.
Haitian.
See
I'm
the
Haitian American.
disconnect?
Oh
When
my
I was
God.
growing up, it was seen as white
It
tea. You're
was.
not of the lineage to
What do
understand
you
that we
mean?
always knew it
I'm born
wasn't
in
white
America.
tea.
What are you talking about? I'm born in America.
You're
I've
not,
never been.
sir.
I've never been
Sir,
in
you're
any other
Haitian.
country but
Okay,
America.
before we get into that, because now we're talking about another music genre, and we don't even need to argue on another music genre. When you're talking about, and nobody said that she was not doing good or doing well for herself before coming to America. But the thing is that her popularity is because of the American audience. It's not because of foreign. If she did
She
not
has
come to,
popularity. She's
if she
popular
does
enough to
not,
come
if
to
she
America.
never came to America, we wouldn't be talking about her.
I'm
Let's
gonna
be
tell you how the music.
very honest.
I'm
We
gonna tell
wouldn't
you how the
be
music.
talking about her.
I'm gonna tell you how the American. I'm gonna tell you how the music industry works when it comes to international artists. If you're not popping out there, they're not gonna bring you to America.
The thing is that they see potential in certain people, and then they bring them there because they understand, like, okay, well, this person has some potential, so we can bring them to America and they can do well in America. But they're not a global phenomenon prior to coming to America. Let's be honest, okay? And I'm not saying she doesn't have potential or whatever the case is, but when people make it seem like she's like this great big thing prior to coming to America, let's not be dishonest.
And the internet is the globe.
Let's not be dishonest,
That's not
okay?
dishonest. That's not dishonest. I work in the music industry, and I just know how the music industry works. When
Okay,
you have to be popping, you have to have a certain, because you understand these people are putting millions of dollars behind
clearly
these
she
artists.
ain't popping. That's the thing. We're looking at the numbers right now. You say she got to be popping. Clearly she's not. She's got to cancel tours all the time because clearly
That's
she's
in
not as
America.
popping as people were trying to make her out
America.
to be.
That's in America. Because on Billboard
God.
World Chart album, she's 11. On European Apple Music, she's number 12. Worldwide Apple Music, she's number 9. That's
Okay.
good. That's
Okay.
globally. But when I was talking about America, I think America, like I said, it's fine that Americans don't want to
And
listen to
here's the
Tyler.
thing. Why does this have anything to do if she's trying to be relevant in America? Because
Because I'm
every time we try to talk about she's not doing that well, here y'all come, oh, she's doing great. She's doing great. She's doing great. She's going to be a has-been listening to y'all because y'all got too much ego because of your low self-esteem. That's
she's
the
not
thing.
going to be a has.
No,
No,
stop.
she's going to be
Yes,
a has
she is.
in
Be quiet.
America.
Stop it. Stop. No.
Globally,
Stop.
she's not.
Stop. With numbers like this, you think she's not going to be a has-been. With numbers like this, if numbers like this and stuff like her canceling tours and making bad excuses for that left and right is not going to add up to her eventual and inevitable fall off, I don't know what you're talking about. Because we've had several artists come and go and they did better numbers than this. All right. So y'all can gas up and make it seem like, oh, this doesn't matter and she's still this global phenomenon all over the world. Okay, well, maybe, and we'll just see how that works. We'll see how that works. But I remember y'all saying these are the same people who were saying that she was the next Aaliyah. And clearly she's not the next Aaliyah. All right. And
She's
y'all
not
gonna
the next
keep
Aaliyah in
saying,
America.
stop.
I would say
Y'all
that.
gonna keep
She's not going to be
saying,
the next Aaliyah in
stop,
America.
stop. Y'all gonna keep saying that this girl is just sitting up there on cloud nine and she's just doing great and couldn't be doing any better until eventually people are gonna be like, Tyla who? That's what's gonna happen. Because every time we try to give some correction, because the American market is going to keep her relevant, all right? That's what doing features with Black Americans in the American market, which is why she came over here. Because if she was doing better in anybody else's place, she would stay there. Now, I'm not saying she's doing bad when it comes to everywhere else in the world, but how well do you think that that's going to go if America is not going to, if in America, where she's from right now, where she is right now, is she's not relevant in the country she's in right now? How long do you think that's going to be?
There's a lot of artists that are
Because there's a
relevant
lot
in
of
America.
other American, listen, there's a lot of other American artists that are doing better than her. All right. And the thing is, America pushes artists around the world. They push to make artists big around the world. If they see that clearly she doesn't have the audience base, they're going to stop pushing her. The machine is going to stop. Okay. Because right now she's looking like a bad investment. And they're going to say, okay, well, we need to find another, because let's be honest, she's not rare like that. We need to find another girl, okay? Another little young 20-something-year-old girl. Because right now, Tyla just seems like a bad investment. So what they're going to start doing is they're going to start, what they call it, cutting their losses on Tyla if she doesn't get it together soon. And when companies and big investors and labels start cutting their losses, and we've seen this with several different artists before, they might be doing really good in the beginning, but if they can't keep that up, then the labels and the record labels and all of this are going to start cutting their losses, and the big push that they used to have is going to cease to exist. And then next thing you know, these artists are going to be struggling for the rest of their career. We've seen this time and time again. And people didn't want that to happen to Tyla, which is why people were trying to give her so much correction. But every time we try to give them every time we try to give her correction, we have people saying, actually, she doesn't need to do anything else. She's great. She's fine. Y'all just don't understand. Clearly, that's not the case.
Industry works. Like I work in the music industry for sure, for sure. It that's not how it works. It doesn't. If you look at if you look at any artist that's globally that's sold millions, there's artists that's sold diamond across seas, but no American artists, no American people know these people.
Okay, but
So,
she's in America, dude.
Bucks,
You're missing the
can
point.
I say something
Hold
really
on,
quick
hold on.
to Bucks?
Hold on. You're missing I don't even know the statistics, but the thing is that you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Okay. You're really missing the point.
I
Because the
agree with
thing
you.
is that I'm trying
She's
to
not
tell
gonna
you,
be Aaliyah.
stop it. Stop. The thing is, I'm trying to tell you, which is what we've been trying to tell you the whole time, where you're always acting like she's fine and she has she's this global phenomenon and everybody around the world just loves Tyler so much. How long do you think that's going to last if in America she becomes irrelevant? Because the artist,
It's not gonna last in America.
it's
It's
not
not.
going to last.
It
In
doesn't matter.
America,
Came a
And it
question.
doesn't matter.
okay, all
It
right.
Wait,
If
doesn't
it
Bugs.
matter.
don't matter, I don't see why you're up here then.
So, Afro Lee, let me ask you a question. If America didn't matter or they didn't want to tap into the American market, the American fan base, would she be wasting her time coming on the Breakfast Club and all of this?
No,
She
no.
wants Black American acceptance, or she wouldn't go on the Breakfast Club. And
If
she probably did interviews in the South. Come on, y'all gotta cut it out. Like
y'all,
America ain't them,
it's this
you
thing
know?
of trying to make it seem like our influence is irrelevant. They keep trying to argue that our influence is irrelevant. No, it doesn't matter. Around the world, she's doing great. Around the world, this is happening. Around the world, this is happening. She came to America. Her team said this was the smartest decision for your career to advance. Coming to America. Okay. And she's not doing number one around the world anywhere. All right. Let's be honest. He named places she was not even top 5 in the places he named around the world. And you think with the mistake she's making, and if America says she's not relevant, she's going to stay there. She's not even top 5 in the places you named. What are we doing? You see, you keep making it seem like America is not relevant. Oh, all right. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Y'all can do that. And she's going to be a has-been in the near future if y'all keep doing that. Let's get to Coco. Coco, we can't hear you. Coco, going once. Going twice. Coco, we cannot hear you. All right, well, hold on. All right, well, I guess Coco's not there. Let's get to Sky. Can y'all hear me? I don't know what's going on. Sky?
Afro, they might be having some
Okay,
technical
well, I guess
problems.
Sky is not ready then. All right, let's get to FBA Detroit.
What up, though?
What's good, brother?
What up,
I
though?
hear you, my brother. Hey, I just want to say, I agree with you, that you want that American stamp and music, period. That's why Beanie Man was never a worldwide global artist until he made Here Comes the Girl, Damn Sugar with Maya.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know that's why Sean Paul did "Baby By You" with Beyonce. You want that American stamp in music. Now, I'm not saying that you can't sell everywhere, but America pretty much dominates the music charts, and the world follows America. Whatever America's listening to is the hot topic of everywhere on all airwaves. If you blow up in America, you're gonna blow up everywhere when it come down to music. Not saying that you can't sell a few records here and there, but to get that superstardom, that worldwide global superstardom, you got to have that American stamp. Otherwise than that, there would be Michael Jacksons everywhere. There would be a African Michael Jackson. There will be an African Beyonce. There will be an African Jay-Z. Nobody's doing these type of numbers. There will be an African Eminem. So you know what I'm saying? You want that American stamp. Now, what I want to say about the Africans and this Afro beats, first of all, everybody understands that y'all follow in the footsteps of America. Y'all live in the shadows of Black Americans. And I'm going to say that because look at how y'all operate. Y'all call y'all film industry Nollywood. Who is that behind? Americans, right? We have Hollywood. Y'all call y'all film industry Nollywood. All right. So that shows you right there who you model your who you hope to have success like, should I say, who you idolize, who you follow behind. I saw a video yesterday of some people talking about Nigeria this and Nigeria that, and then they said dominating the music charts. So me only hearing Afrobeat song here and there on the radio, like Make Me Sweat or ooh, I'm like, ain't no way in the hell they dominating the music chart. Let me go see. So I just went and Googled what genre of music dominates the music charts, and they said rap and hip hop, as I already knew. All right, so what I feel like is these people are the jealous little brother that he doesn't want to walk beside his big brother and both of them walk together. He wants to walk in front of his big brother. He wants to say, I beat you. And that's what I'm getting from the Africans. I feel like us being Black Americans, we were taught that black was black. Like up until recently, black meant black to us. But I guess we were the only ones who felt like that. When I seen a Jamaican, I said, oh, he Jamaican. When I see an African, I said, oh, he African. I'm Black American. I never felt like this. I wasn't taught or raised like that. We as Black Americans were taught that black is black. Black means black. So we welcomed them in. We welcomed in Rihanna. We welcomed in Sean Paul. We welcomed in, what's the guy name? It wasn't me. Shaggy back in the day. We welcome artists from overseas to come and do collabs with us and put them on the maps and made their songs hits. You see what I'm saying? But I just feel like the Africans are really they really probably tired of walking in the footsteps and following in the footsteps of Black Americans, and they just got a little taste of success, a little taste of money. When I went on farther to Google some of the Afro beats, I just went and Googled what's the top 10 Afro beat songs to see how many I had actually heard on the radio. And I had maybe heard one of the songs on the radio, but they happened to show me the video because it was on YouTube. And I want to say this. Y'all is speaking way too ahead of y'all time. Y'all got a little pinch of success. Y'all getting a little exposure. It doesn't mean that you're leading the music charts the way how y'all think y'all are. First of all, Afro beats is not finna be the stuff. That is not going to be the music that everybody's finna be listening to from now on, riding down the street in their cars and playing at barbecues and in the club. Like Half of the stuff you can't hardly understand. It's too African for us. And one thing about American music is it's simple and everybody understands it. You Afro beats is not finna be the new, oh, this the new stuff. Like it haven't happened with no other no other country coming in and dominating the hip hop and R&B charts. You cannot do that because half of y'all artists, you cannot understand what you're saying. It sounds good and it's cool to hear it on the radio every now and then, but ain't nobody finna buy it. Ain't nobody finna hear Make Me Sweat next year. You ain't finna hear that, Nick. Ain't nobody finna, oh, that's the throwback like Aaliyah, If Your Girl Only Knew or something. Like, that's not finna be, it's too African. It's too African. And I don't mean no disrespect when I say that it sounds good. I like to hear it, but I'm not finna buy that. That's not finna be the stuff. And I just feel like y'all don't want to walk beside us. Y'all want to run in front of us and say, ha, I beat you. And you can't do that. In order for you you had to create something of your own. When I look at these artists, I see hip hop and R&B, American style. I see these dudes wearing Air Force Ones, 2 gold chains, gold grills, Black American high top fades that was invented in New York. I'm seeing everything. It says rapping. Y'all still rapping and doing R&B. Y'all haven't created a genre of music. Afro beats to me sounds like a little bit of reggae beats. It's the same. It's that same rhythm right there with some y'all using auto tunes, which is Black American. Zapp and Roger created auto tune. You know, everything that we do, y'all haven't created nothing. So how do y'all minimize our role in y'all little success and exposure that y'all got is by claiming that we got it from y'all. Y'all using auto tune. Zapp and Roger, they from Dayton, Ohio. More bounce to the house. They created auto tune. You see what I'm saying? We created this. We created everything that y'all got going on. Y'all using 808 beat patterns. Y'all using everything that we use. Y'all following that whole. Y'all look like African Americans when y'all over there. When I look at the video, I see dudes wearing Air Force Ones. I see them wearing shades, gold grills, gold chains, looking just like us. Like you haven't created anything to feel like, oh, we're going to dominate the charts. You can't recycle somebody else's everything and think that you're going to take their place. Like that's impossible. Y'all need to create a new genre of music, and I ain't talking about using hip hop and R&B. I'm talking about something totally different, something totally new, and maybe the world might like that and go and buy with that. But Afro beats is not finna be the takeover. Like y'all got high hopes, and hey, listen, more power to you. But no, man, and like I said, y'all speaking too early. Y'all get a little bit of success. And if you ever had to follow in somebody's footsteps or had to kiss any ass before in your life, when you don't have to do it no more, it do make you want to say, nah, I got my own. But y'all doing it too early. Y'all doing that way. Y'all showing y'all true colors. Y'all playing spades and you got an ace and you showing me you got an ace and I'm sitting here with a joker saying, God damn. Like you're exposing your hatred and your jealousy toward Black Americans way too early. And like I said, everything that all the negativity that comes for Black Americans is a defense mechanism because of we're under attack by people who we trust and thought was our own. Because as a Black American, I'm 46 years old. I can tell you this. I was taught that Black was Black. I never seen the difference between other Black people from other different countries. If we felt like that, there wouldn't be no Rihanna. There wouldn't be no Sean Paul. There wouldn't be no Beanie Man. It wouldn't be all of these artists who came over here that we blew up and supported.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I land my plane, brother. Thank you for letting me talk.
Move on. Thank you, brother. I'm gonna say this because man was he not on fire? Did he even cook? Look, I'm gonna say this. It's like because I'm glad that you bring up the Big Brother analogy. It's as if they have, and I've said this before, they have some type of rivalry with us in America that we were unaware of. That's why they keep coming in. No, we don't need y'all. We doing good. We doing great all over the place. Y'all have this rivalry and y'all want to one up us so bad. And y'all are having this one-sided rivalry because then when we look around, we say it's like a race, and y'all like, ha, I won the race, and we like, I didn't know.
But they come from that, Afro.
Yeah, we
they
looking
come
like
from that. That's
First
why
off,
they've
you
been.
gotta really
That's
win
why they've been
the race.
having Nigeria
But
against this
yeah,
country, this
I'm
country against
saying
that
they
country.
haven't really won the race. Y'all didn't really win the race, and we didn't even know it was a race.
Didn't even
Y'all
know,
y'all
bro.
y'all running, thinking that y'all
Black
can
means
beat
black
us
to
in a
us.
race that you can't. And then when we say actually we're not real, we weren't really racing you. We're not in the competition, but you all take everything to be this competition. Haha, we're gonna replace you with this. Haha, we're the next this. Haha, we finally beat you. Y'all got this very weird rivalry with us that now we're starting to recognize that okay, y'all really got some rivalry going on. Because a lot of that, and I said this before, and a lot of people get offended, but this is truth, y'all have ethnic insecurity, and our success that we've shared, because we never tried to gatekeep it, because we've always shared it under this guise that we're all this family. You guys have viewed it as a reflection of how little you feel like you are. All right, you guys have always said it like, okay, well, secretly, I'm going to wait for my chance to beat you. That's how they felt the
Man,
entire
it's
time.
Jacob and Esau all
Secretly,
over again, bro.
secretly, I'm waiting for my chance to get at you, to be past you, to be better than you. And we've never looked at it like we're better than everybody. We looked at it like this family that we're sharing
We're all
everything with.
black.
Oh,
It's Jacob and Esau
okay,
all
thank you.
over
We're
again, man.
gonna
They trying to
move
steal
on
a
to the
nigga
next people.
birthright,
Thank
dog.
you.
They trying to steal a brother birthright, bro. Right
All
up
right.
under his
Yep.
nose, bro.
Thank
The
you.
whole time we treating them like, hey, we all black. Come on over here,
Thank you,
get.
brother.
Come
Thank you.
on, make your hits. And the whole time they in secret competition with us, bro.
Okay, thank
And
you,
but the thing about it is,
brother. I don't know if you can't hear me, but damn. Okay. Um. Yeah. Lost my train of thought. Shit. All right. Okay. He was good, but I'm okay. All right now. Let's not do too much. Yeah. Okay. You can hear. Yeah. I figured because he normally don't do that. It could have been an audio thing. Kind of threw me off a little bit. But yeah, I was saying that there's this rivalry where y'all thinking that y'all beating us and y'all not doing that. And we don't feel this way. And now when it comes to Afrobeats, like, haha, Afrobeats is taking over. No, you're declaring victory and showing your hand that y'all thought this was a race the whole time. Now we're looking at it like, why was y'all trying to replace us in the first place? Okay. So yeah, we looking at it like that. Let's get to Tana, and then we'll get to Lenar. Let's see.
Okay. All right. I'll try to be quick. I just wanted to, some of the things I wanted to talk about. Bucks, one of the things that I believe he said was that Tyler's doing good globally. And to that, I just think about the fact that people who start in America who don't make it, what they do next is go global. If you go overseas, they're always bringing up rappers and artists that are from the US, but we don't know them. They'll pull out a list like, oh, yeah, this rapper from New York. You haven't heard of him? And I'm like, no, who is that? Right? So going global is not the impact that it seems to be. It's good for you financially, but it's not doing anything where it matters. And that it matters in the US because we have the number one export of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as that's the case, most people are going to want what is quote unquote the American dream. That's one. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I was a little confused, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Ara Star was a bigger act than Tyla before Tyla made it to America. So I think a lot of people were upset. I think Nigeria and South Africa would go back and forth about Tyla and Ara Star, and I think they still do. Caribbean people love Ara Star, right? She's really Afrobeats. And Tyla at this point, within the last 2 weeks, is already talking about how her budget is being cut and she has to do her own hair and makeup.
I've
So
heard that too. Yep, I've heard that. Yep.
So that's case in point. If you can't make it in America, they're going to usher you out. Meanwhile, I believe Ara Star just signed a deal with Rock Nation.
Mm. Oh, damn! I didn't even know that. But if she did, damn. Okay.
That's what I'm hearing. Now, I've heard it several times over. I don't know how true it is, but there have been some noticeable signs, and to my understanding, she is supposed to replace Tyla.
And like I told, and people being all like, no, it don't matter. She's doing great. I'm telling you, y'all say I work in the music industry. You clearly just started your job because we know more about music than you guys think we do. I'm letting you know this now. There's a really, really big push. There's millions of dollars behind getting her these interviews and putting her on the red carpet and making sure she's dressed all great and her makeup is all great and her hair is all great and putting her on these stages. There's millions of dollars behind that push, and they are expecting a return on investment. That's what they expect. They expect with this big push, she's going to blow up and there's going to be a huge return on investment. Right now, they're looking at it like, you know what, she's not being the return on investment that we thought. So what they think right now is that they're throwing good money after bad with Tyla, because they're like, okay, with all the millions of dollars we invested in her, we should have a bigger return on investment or at least be breaking even. But it seems like we're losing money investing in her. So let's just cut our losses and find someone new. She's not going to be that difficult to replace. We can cut our losses and find somebody new. Y'all, or not you, but I'm saying too many of y'all making it seem like she's doing great, and she's been doing great. I'm telling you, this is the beginning of Tyla being a has-been. I'm telling you guys right now, this is because we've seen this before. Okay, if you have a huge push out the gate and you cannot deliver, they're gonna wash their hands with you and it's gonna be over. We've seen this before. I'm trying to tell y'all, but okay, all right. And she ain't doing phenomenal overseas either. Let's be honest. She's not doing phenomenal. She's not doing bad, but she's not doing phenomenal overseas either. Okay. All
One more
right.
point. With the song Water, he brought up when you asked about what's the bass song that made it in America. She's currently being sued for that for not giving credit to two American writers on that song.
Oh
So
damn.
yeah, the bass of that song was an American song.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And that's it.
yep. You see that? Let's get to Sky. Sky, are you with us?
Yes, thank you. Well, what I want to say first is that, I'm sure we all agree that Black American music is global. It will be a lie to say that it is not, and also does not have any global impact. But I only have one question. I believe that most of y'all do
You're
not like.
from South Africa,
Yes,
if I remember
yes, I'm
correctly.
from South
Okay.
Africa.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So this is what I want to get is that no. I believe that most of y'all did not like Tyler because she identified as colored, right? Am I correct?
No, a lot of people were upset because in America, colored has a connotation that it doesn't have other places. So in
Okay.
America, that's seen as something that is disrespectful to black people, to refer to a
Okay.
black person as colored. And when we said that, it was, well, it was gaslit, okay, and we were told that we were the bad guys for even bringing that up, or we were ignorant rather for bringing that up. Now that's one thing, but the color thing is everybody's kind of biggest thing, you know what I'm saying? But there's a negative connotation with
Good.
that, and then when people informed and when she had the ability to clear that up, she didn't do that. It was less of her referring to herself as colored and more of
Oh,
the response to after
okay.
we said that we didn't like that.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now I understand. So, what you're basically saying, it's not that Black Americans had a problem with her cultural identity, but it's the fact that she did not acknowledge the concerns that Black people had, right? Sorry, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. I hear y'all. Well, anyway, I wanted to touch on that, because, from my understanding, is that the one drop rule, I understood it to be a racist thing, right? It was, a rule that came from white supremacists because they believed that, the black blood would taint their blood. So now I have the questions to other Black Americans that try to make non-Black people Black. Why do they do that? Because you would have a person who has one Black parent. You have a person that has one white parent and one Black parent, but that person would only identify as Black. Why is that person not allowed to identify as white as that other? You know,
Okay.
because that white forms part of their
No,
race,
that's
right?
not the. That's not it. That's not it. For an educational moment, it's not the
Mm-hmm.
fact that now she's not from America. She can
Right.
identify with whatever she wants to identify with. Let's be very honest, she can. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that when you come to another person's land, you can't say,
Mm-hmm.
"Well, I'm gonna bring in whatever customs from my previous land to this land, and you all have to accept that." That's the thing. In America, we're saying, even if she said I'm mixed or whatever, that's not the thing. If we said because of our history with people being referred to as colored, we find that to be distasteful and disrespectful. Even if you agree or disagree, you gotta respect that. Even if you say, well, okay, well, maybe in my custom is not like that, I gotta respect that because I'm here now. All right. And there was a perfect opportunity for her to clear that up and her team to clear that up, but it was this kind of dismissive attitude and this annoyed attitude when the conversation was brought up. A lot of people watched the Breakfast Club and were waiting, specifically because I did, and were waiting for that to be brought up. And when that got brought up, even if she gave a sorry PR scripted explanation, she didn't do that. She literally turned to her team, and then her team said something to Charlemagne about we're not going there. And that's what that like really enforced why people were upset. Okay, because you can't just come here and then do as you did when you were in South Africa. Because as an American, I can't go to South Africa and then do whatever I want to do and then say, you know what, in America this is cool, so you know what it is. I can't do that. You have to respect the culture and sensitivities of the natives, which is something a lot of people felt like Tyler didn't do.
Okay, I see, and I get your point. So now, on that, I do have a question. So, from my understanding, races came from whiteys, right? They're the ones who came with this caste system, right? So now, you know, I'm going to try to be as objective as possible, and I also want you guys to be as objective as possible in answering this question. So, let's say, you know, let's say one of you guys goes to South Africa, right? And South Africans say that we no longer now identify as Black, but African, because Black came from whiteys, right? Um, would you then be okay, with not identifying as Black American? Won't you feel that South African are trying to strip you of your identity? Wouldn't that be dehumanizing to you, and your cultural identity as well? Yes. So also in answering this question, I want you guys to try to be as objective as possible. Thank you.
Objectively
One
speaking.
moment, Afro.
Mm.
Ask her because there's about I believe I heard the number is 20,000 Black Americans in South Africa now. What do they
Mhm.
identify as now? Why are they identifying as South Africans? The
Um,
Black Americans that went there. What
I
are they
don't think they
identifying
can
as?
identify as black. So sorry, I don't think they can identify as South Africans, but they can identify as Black because we also, identify as Black in South Africa, but we also have colors, and colors are not Black.
Right. So
Okay, but here's
I don't
let
get her
me
question.
answer your question objectively.
Okay. Okay.
Objectively speaking, the thing is that I do identify as Black, and I would go anywhere. And if people said that, you know what, Black is a term that we don't want you to identify with, I would feel that that would be stripping me away from my custom. I would feel that way. The thing is that nobody tried to do that to Tyler. I would feel that way if we said, okay, well, you cannot identify as Black or whatever the case is. I would feel some type of way. And if I couldn't identify how I would want to, then I would go to another land. Nobody tried to do that with Tyler. That's not a case for case scenario. What we said is that you said colored, All right. And we're trying to educate you on the historical context of this land when it came to the word colored. Now, if you said, well, I identify with colored, but I'm not saying I'm not black, but this is just where I'm from, and I didn't mean no offense to it. Okay, if you go to all everybody was saying is if you go to anybody else's country and you do anything that offends them, you then have to take accountability, even if you didn't know, even if it's your custom home, whatever the case is. If you do something that offends the native population, then you have to say, hey, no offense, I didn't mean no offense, I don't mean no disrespect. Because if you don't say that, then people will take it as you're directly being disrespectful or you're purposefully being disrespectful. If you go someplace and you do something accidentally, then you will say, it's an accident. I didn't know. This is where I'm from. This is what we do. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. But if people say, hey, do you know that over here that's disrespectful? And you say, so what? People take it like you either meant to be disrespectful or you don't care that you're being disrespectful. That's people's issue with her. Not
Oh,
even that
okay.
she meant to be racially insensitive. It's more of the attitude, among other things, that she doesn't care what nobody else thinks.
Oh, okay. All right. I see your point. So you didn't have, a problem with her identity, but you had a problem with her not, you had a problem with her, not acknowledging rather the concerns of Black Americans. Okay, I see with that. You guys have a point. Also what I wanted to say, I heard it here for the first time, that she has added the thing about reparations on her song. I think then, I would understand how that would be disrespectful to Black Americans because, honestly speaking, we don't even use that, reparations term in South Africa. Although, yes, we have been oppressed by the whiteys, right? And we still want, reparations, but we never use that term. What we usually say is that, we want our land back, we want our resources back. So I could understand how that might have been disrespectful to you guys. Okay, so what I want to acknowledge that, okay, now I now understand that you guys didn't have a problem with her identity per se, but she rather could have used her platform to educate, the yeah, she could have used her platform to basically educate the American population, about her cultural identity instead of being arrogant.
Yeah,
So
and
I do
even
understand what
even
where
the
you guys come
arrogant
from.
thing. The thing is that it Black Americans, we are very accepting to a lot of people's different identities, a lot of people's different beliefs, a lot of people's different ways of life, or whatever the case is. And even when we understood that, yeah, in South Africa, we understand it was less an educational moment, but it was more of, okay, we need you to at least say that that you care, that it bothered us. We need you to acknowledge that, and we need you to be humble about the fact that this is an upsetting issue.
I
Okay,
see.
we need you
Okay.
to be mature enough to acknowledge the fact that what you did was disrespectful. All right, and then
Okay.
to apologize for that. And I promise you, this people wouldn't be bringing this up to this day. People wouldn't be doing that, but it's that on top of a situation with the whole reparation song, on top of her calling herself uppity, and on top of the whole thing at the award show where she's showing different instances that when you add them up together, people say, okay, well, she is acting like she just don't give a damn what nobody thinks and how nobody feels. She feels like she's the biggest person in the room. She feels like she's the most important person in the room because we're looking, and it seems like every other day or everything we know about her is always something coming up, and we're adding all of these things up. It wasn't just the color thing. We're adding all these things up, and it's coming like, you know what? She's acting like she just really don't give a damn what nobody think. And if you,
Okay.
and the fan base, not only that, her toxic fan base, every time somebody said something, was gaslighting and disrespecting us. Anytime somebody said something about her. So those two things coupled together are going to get people to completely have a bad taste in their mouth about Tyla and then dismiss her, which is what we're seeing right here.
Okay. I see. Okay. So now I understand that you guys didn't really have a problem with her identity as a colored, but rather her arrogance and disrespect. All right. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you.
I'm learning.
Want to make this so y'all know that we were had to identify as colored before, right? And so now do y'all notice Afro Elite, Halo, Striving, all my foundational Black Americans, when they say people of color, Black Americans say I'm not a person of color, because we feel they just took the word and changed it into people of color, another way to describe who was not white tea. You get it? So
Right.
over
Yes.
here, it's just really we don't like that word, the oppression, the pain, the behind that word as it happened to our ethnic group. So that's why we give pushback even to the term people of color, because we're not that either.
Mm. Yeah.
Um.
Read the room. That's the thing. Failure to read the room. You gotta read. You when you go someplace, you got to read the room. Okay. You
Oh,
can't
okay.
just move how you want to. But thank you.
Oh,
Let's
all right. All
yeah.
right. Thanks.
Let's move on to Linra. How do you pronounce your name? Linra.
Oh, Linra. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just a name. It's not
Okay.
my real.
Where are you
um,
from?
I'm Nigerian,
Okay.
but I still live in America, so I don't know.
Okay.
I just came here to talk about. I'm more in your side and BX side of what people are saying that she needs to make it in America to be an established this thing. I loved Tyla when she came out. I loved her everything. I even discovered her in TikTok, and that's what we're talking or people are talking about. That the water song was what blew her up. So Americans that blew her up and everything, seeing her dance and also people reacting to her dance, like people's boyfriend reacting to her dance, is what really blew her up. And the thing is that she came out and that colored thing happened in the podcast. The way people are not understanding that the colored comment is not what turned her off of the black community. What turned her off of the black community is how she responded to it. How like her PR team and everybody responded to the comment and everything. She could have gone a different way and be like, "Oh, this is how it, that is called in this thing." But I am actually mixed, and we just keep it going. But she doubled down on it, and that's what turned people off. And also, if you turn off your main audience, which are black people and black Americans, you're not going to have any stable point in America. That is for sure. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like every artist, and people are like, oh, that she's doing globally everywhere, and I'm like, that does not matter. Like you have to do. Every artist that is coming up always wants to do very well in America and be stable in America, and then they can think about anywhere else. They want to be stable in America first. Like look at K-pop. They came to America. They Americanized most of their music, and now they are somehow big. I think they're big. No, they're not somehow big. They're big. That's
Mm-hmm.
like people they have their stance, their American stance and everything. Um, and also look at I think there's a movie that came out about a guy that was a monkey, and people like UK people are like, oh, do you know this guy? Do you know? Most of America was like, we don't know who this guy is. Do you know the movie that I'm talking about? And it's like,
He can't. He was a monkey in a man was a monkey in a movie.
yeah, he was a monkey. Like he was a musician, but they were making a movie about him. Like he was a monkey. I don't know the name of the movie, but
Okay.
people were like he was a British person. He's a white person. He's not black.
Somebody.
he so
Okay.
huh?
You talking about Rob? Somebody keeps saying Robert. Robbie Williams.
I think yeah, that is him. That is him.
Okay.
So people were like telling Americans, "Oh, this movie's coming out. Oh, do you know who he is?" And America was like, "We don't know who he is." And people were like, "You don't know who Robbie Williams is?" Like as if he was big in UK or whatever, the British side of the world. And people were like, "We don't know who he is." And the worst part is that he's using his face as a monkey, so we won't even doubly know who he is. So it's like you have to make it. You can be big wherever you are in every country you are. But if you're not big in America, nobody will know you in other parts of the country. in other parts of the world. You understand what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's like also the comment she made, and also people are like, oh, but Rihanna was a bad girl, and also she was this. And then you have to understand that Rihanna was not a diva straight up. Rihanna was a sweet girl at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then she reconstructed after the Chris Brown and everything and became a bad girl. So people knew her as a sweet girl before she became a bad girl. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what people have to understand. And also, like, I don't know, as a Nigerian, people are like saying that, oh, they want that not to be colored. Colored, we don't even use that in Nigeria. But people are saying, I understand where the African, South Africans are saying that people who want her to identify as black. Like, no one is saying she identify as black. Is that there is a very bad history with that word in America in general, that you have to understand that even though it is what you identify as, you have to understand that you have to also behave like the people that you came into. You came into the American ecosystem. You have to behave like them. You have to um
Mm-hmm.
like you're selling to American people, mostly black people, because even though like she's not white, if she's white, that is another situation. But she looks black, she's phenotypically black. And your main audience will always be black Americans. If black Americans will not stand you, there is no other group that will stand you in America. If you are Asian and you're trying to make it in Asia, in America, it's the Asian people that will stand you first before any other race will ever stand you. If you're what other race? If you're Middle Eastern people have to stand you first before any other race will stand you. If you're Latino people have to stand you in America before any other group is stand you. And she's phenotypically black, and it's like she's losing her fan base in America. And people are like, it does not matter. It still matters to her, and that's why I hate when people are like, we don't need you, we don't need. I'm like, people are destroying her fan base. People are not trying to be her fans. People are making it hard for her to grow a fan base in America. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for that. Thank you. I mean, because the thing is, we're not saying rocket science. We're not saying rocket science. Y'all, the fan base is deterring people from even enjoying her music, because her fan base is so toxic, and they're toxic, like I said, for no reason. When you come to America, look, we get it. People come from different customs, people come from different tribes and different nations and stuff like that. But when you come to America, there is a respect that you must show. And she came here not showing that respect. Now, one thing is that when she had time and time and time again to she had several times to really apologize and take accountability, and that didn't happen. Never did that. That never happened. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So now it's at this point. Now it's at this point where I'm all like, okay, well, if y'all want to sit up there and act as if y'all don't care what nobody think, then okay, then all right. Y'all
Yeah.
don't have to act like that, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
also like people might say the same thing about, oh, but other artists have fan bases that are like
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift
Mm-hmm.
the fan bases will be like, oh, we don't need you, even though you think Taylor Swift is not that good, we don't need anybody. Taylor Swift fan base, Taylor Swift cannot address it right now because she's already too big. Like she already have a fan base that is too big. She cannot address if she. I'm thinking she should, but if she don't want to, is still not going to
Mm-hmm.
impact her. But Tyla is still like a new artist that I think she came out 2 years ago,
Yeah, that's
or she
yeah.
came out in the mainstream 2 years ago. I was hating when people. I was like, you are making it very very hard for people in America to like her, and you are like, oh, the white people like her. The white people do not care if the black people do not care. That
Yeah,
is the one thing you
sometimes
have to
yeah, that's
realize.
true. I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna move on to the next speaker, because we do gotta wrap things up before we move on to the next subject. I'm gonna say this, and I said this earlier in the live. Okay, um, she don't have enough skin in the game for her fan base to be that toxic. You got a lot of other artists that got toxic fan base. You got a lot of other artists that are that got a ride or die fan base, but she has a ride or die fan base and she ain't been in the game that long. She's too new to have so many red flags or flags on the play, rather, if we're looking at it as in a game analogy. She's too new and doesn't have nearly as much work out. You can say Taylor Swift, you gotta say Taylor Swift been out for a minute. Taylor Swift has multiple awards. Taylor Swift has and I don't listen to Taylor Swift's music, but I will say what needs to be said. Taylor Swift has accolades, okay? You gotta give Taylor Swift that at the very least. And her fan base is toxic, too toxic, you know what I'm saying? But they at least can ride on the fact that Taylor Swift has accolades. You can say, well, what about Nicki? What about Beyonce? What about Rihanna? They've been there long enough to have accolades for their fan base to at least ride on that. Tyla doesn't have those accolades. Besides having maybe one or two viral songs, that's not nearly enough for her fan base to be doing the most. Her fan base is doing way too much, and they don't have the accolades to substantiate why they ride for her so hard. So it's not really about the music. They're riding for her this hard for another reason. That's the true reason. Her fan base is riding this hard for another reason. Okay, not because of the music they love so much. It's because of something else. It's a deeper reason why they're riding for Tyla so much. All right. So, and you know, that's why her things are like that. But we're gonna move on because I do want to close this out shortly, so we can get to another or the live soon. So let's get to Coco. Coco, are you with us, Coco? I guess Coco's not with us.
See, Coco, I'm not seeing two people in a box. I see Tanae, America, Halo, Lennar, and Striving.
You don't see? I see a Coco.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I see
yeah,
Coco.
they told me my app crashed, so maybe I'm having
Okay,
technical
well,
difficulties.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I see.
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess. All right, then. Let's get to striving.
I came up because of what you were saying about the competition thing, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to throw something out there, a thought that popped in my head, just to get your feedback on it. Then I'm gonna go ahead and drop it.
Mm-hmm.
So, a thought crossed my mind about. I think that the competition stems from a jealousy of how Black Americans are treated by other non-black people. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see how Black American culture is so accepted and popularized in places like China and Asia and all throughout Europe and it's like this thing where it's like we're black like they're black, but when they go to these places, it's like they don't get treated the same. They're not viewed the same, and it's like
Mm.
a mind thing and all that. You know what I'm saying? I think part of the competition stems from that. And so I wanted to yeah, I just wanted to get your
I
feedback
mean,
on it.
mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of jealousy can be brought up that way, because even though we go through oppression, and there are different people who go through different oppressions and different struggles and stuff like that, there's a sense of globalized respect and recognition and acclaim that they see us have that they don't have. And in a way, many of them have looked at it like we're casting a shadow on them. Okay, they're looking like, okay, no matter where we go, we're not treated like they're treated. Why not? So it's developed into this competition or rivalry that they've secretly had, to be like, the second I get a chance, I'm gonna be the next guy. That's how they feel. Okay, they felt like, okay, I've been living in your shadow. It's like in a movie where there's a master and then there's a student or whatever the case is, and the student has always been insecure about the master, and then next thing you know, when the student is strong enough, now he wants to overthrow the master. They got that in Star Wars and with the Sith, and there's only two and one always tries to overthrow the other one. That's kind of like how they've been seeing it. We haven't saw it that way, but that's how a lot of them see it. That's why a lot of them are like, oh yes, we finally beat you with Afro beats. Oh, it's better than hip hop now. Hip hop is done, it's over with. And we're looking like, no, first off, no, it's not. Second of all, we were never in competition with you. That's how we're looking like. Or another one, yes, Scar and Mufasa from the Lion King movie. That's a perfect analogy. Where Mufasa has never tried to be in this competition, but Scar has always felt like he's been living in Mufasa's shadow. And he's just been chomping at the bit, waiting for the opportunity to get rid of him. And then him be the next king. And that's what a lot of them are feeling like. That's why the second there's a little bit of success, oh, okay, I'm the best now. You guys are done. You guys are old. You guys are over. Like, okay, where's this hostility coming from? When'd you start feeling like this?
You know what they remind me of? You know the great YT hope or great YT hype that they can't do what we do. They can't dominate what we dominate. So when they get one lone person that they feel can rival us, compare to us, or play amongst us, they start hyping them up. And it happens in boxing all the time. Then they get knocked out. That's what this reminds me of.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do got to start getting stuff together. So let's get to America and Niji.
What's up, brother?
What's good with you? How you doing?
Doing all right. I just wanted to add a little bit on. People forget, in America, there's only 4 million black immigrants in America. It's not that many people. So Afro beats consumption is really not as much as people think it is. So if you take away the black Americans that actually consume Afro beats, if black Americans say we don't want to hear no more Afro beats, they getting blackballed automatically. They don't even realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you gotta really be careful with the stuff that you speak, because you might bring a lot of pain and misery to your own group by trying to be bigger than what you actually are. So I always thought that was kind of funny, with this whole Afro beats versus hip hop thing. Like, nobody really checking on Afro beats like that. It's really not as popular as you think it is. You got probably one city in America that really, plays Afro beats, and that's New York City. If you take, you take New York out of it, don't nobody really listen to Afro beats like that.
Wait. Let me tell you something. There's no cars driving around with Afro beats, but there are cars driving around with Latino music and rap. Like, I don't know what Brooklyn is like, but I can tell you what the Bronx is like. So maybe in New York it's depending on the borough or something. But we ain't checking for Afro beats that much.
I'm not trying to throw any shots at New York, not at all. But
New York loves y'all, but we do take a lot of hits, y'all.
But a lot of people claim that there's a lot of foreigners in New York. That's why I use New York as that example.
And
I know, and you know what's so funny?
All foreigners, all immigrants don't listen to Afro beats.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's really funny. And Tyla, she obviously is delusional. Where she thinks that she's bigger than what she is. Like, she don't know how easily she can get blackballed. So all I gotta say is, FAFO, people keep playing around, they're gonna find out the real. And we don't want to hear all that crying and shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Like, just you keep playing with fire, you're gonna get burned eventually. So that's all I wanted to add into the conversation.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, we can. I guess we can wrap things up right there. Yeah, we had a good conversation, couple hours, I think. few hours maybe. Yeah, we had a good conversation. There was a lot of people in here on this, but yeah, we
Yeah.
pretty much did have a good conversation about it. The thing is that there was a lot of mistakes, and the thing is when a player, if we were to use, let's use a football analogy. All right, for everybody who likes football, football season's coming up, right? Let's use this analogy. There's a lot of players who get a lot of hype, a lot of media attention. Okay, they're all over interviews, podcasts, doing commercials, and all that stuff. When you see LeBron do a commercial, you got to understand, well, LeBron comes with a lot of different championships. LeBron has a bunch of rings. LeBron has a bunch of accolades. Okay, if you see Shaquille O'Neal do, um, if you see Shaquille O'Neal do a, publicity, yeah, Shaquille got a lot of accolades. You know what I'm saying? You see Steph, these people got a lot of accolades. When you see newer players come in and they get pushed in the media and they don't really have the accolades to back that up, people start to scratch their head like, I mean, you just got drafted. Why are you doing all of this stuff? When you see people who just got drafted and then they start acting, they get they get a little bit out of character. Okay, they start feeling themselves too much, and you just got drafted. All right, using a football analogy, and now you're starting to develop flags on the play, or in basketball, you're fouling out. Okay, it's a foul here, it's a foul here, it's a foul here. You're not really making the points you supposed to be making, but there's a lot of hype behind you. Okay, you just got drafted. Yeah, you got a couple good dunks in, but you ain't really scoring like that. And you got a lot of flags on the play. How long do you think that's going to last before the NBA drafts you to another team? If you were in football, you're a quarterback and you can't throw the ball down the field, they're going to replace you. Okay? It doesn't matter if you cannot perform and what you're doing, you getting a lot of flags on the play. It's like every time we look at you, there's an issue, it's another issue. And then when we look, you can't really score, but there's an issue with you. Okay, well, we need to get somebody else then. And this is what we've been trying to say when it comes to Tyla. But every time we say it, for the longest time, it's always been, we're ignorant. We don't know anything. She's phenomenal. She's the next it girl, all of this stuff. Now you see a lot of South Africans are acting very quiet. They're being very quiet right now because now the numbers are showing that we were right the whole time. We told y'all. And even still,
I
when you
had
come in making points, you still gotta pay homage. Okay, don't be coming in there making points and then disrespecting people before you. Don't be rubbing people the wrong way. You just got in the game and you don't get enough accolades to try to be offending anybody. That's something else. When you just get in the game and they tell new art, keep your head down and work and build yourself up before you start rubbing people the wrong way. All right. You do not have enough rings to be offending anybody.
like that. That is so true. That is, but do you know what, Afro? I think that everything that they've been touching lately has been declining. BET, they was supposed to have Fat Joe. We shut him down. He couldn't do the BET Awards. Then Kai Cenat goes up there and waves this big Haitian flag, and next thing we know, they canceling the Hip Hop Awards and some other mess. Hollywood is basically scrambling, and if it hadn't been for Ryan Coogler, they probably wouldn't have had some people coming back to the theaters. They're allowing these immigrants, Afro-descendant immigrants, to sort of stand in and try to beat us, tell our stories or whatever, trying to lock us out. But then their industries are failing, and who they gotta come for? They gotta come for us to pick it up. Because Cynthia Erivo stood her tail on a stage and tried to sing a Jennifer Hudson song, and next thing I know, the next award show, Jennifer Hudson was up there blowing it out the water. I'm like, if they don't get Cynthia Erivo out of here, like, I just feel like the Africans and the Europeans have never got out of bed with each other, and they think they selling us out, but they both need us. So I think they need to do the, we got to issue some straightening. That's all this is. The boycott continue, and Tyla did it to herself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
Cynthia,
what I'm gonna say about
yeah,
that.
the thing with and I want to add on to that. Notice we're over halfway through the year right now, and there's really only been a few movies that's really done really well this year. Okay, and take comic book movies out the picture. There's really only been a couple movies that's done well this year. Okay, and Sinners is one of them. It's a rated R movie. It's an original rated R movie, and it's broken crazy records at the beginning of the year. All right. And besides that, ain't nobody really going to the movies for nothing. And it's not because people don't like movies. It's because people don't like what Hollywood is doing right now. Okay, you guys can't force people to like something they don't like. Don't matter how much you show it to them. Don't matter how much you push it on them. It doesn't matter. You cannot force anybody to like something. All right. And instead of earning things and trying to develop something that people like, you're trying to force people to like that. People do not like Cynthia Erivo. It doesn't matter how much you guys blast her and promote her on award shows and on all of this stuff, making it seem like her base is bigger than it is. People don't. The only thing she's been somewhat successful in is that movie Wicked, and you can give half of the credit to Ariana Grande for that. All right, and I'm being very merciful when I say half, because I think she deserves her audience base probably garners more than half of that, because everything else Cynthia Erivo has done has flopped terribly, miserably. People are not checking for Cynthia Erivo, but yet the industry keeps pushing Cynthia Erivo out like she's the next big thing. All right. And the only thing we've seen that's gotten any relevance, she co-starred with Ariana Grande. Now, I didn't see the movie, but I know for a fact Ariana Grande has a huge fan base. And I'm very sure that's probably what led that movie to the success it was. But y'all, and like I'm saying, you cannot force people to accept things. You cannot force people to like things. You either earn respect and you develop things that people like, or it just won't happen. It just won't happen. It won't happen. I want to say, if you guys want to listen to the playback, this has been a good live. If you guys want to listen to the playback, you guys can go to For the Culture on YouTube. Shout out to everybody listening on YouTube. You guys can go to For the Culture on YouTube. You can also click the link in my bio. We got a lot of likes on this. Okay, so this was a really, really good one. We got a lot of likes on this one, so I appreciate you guys. You know, we'll definitely have, because I've been seeing some more stuff about music, so we'll probably have a couple of more music-based lives, because there's a couple of things I want to say about the subject in general. So before y'all leave, if y'all can tap the screen, if you guys want to follow me and then follow Afro Elite on YouTube, that'd be great. Link is in my bio, as well as For the Culture, where I'm going to be putting the live stream so you guys can listen to the playback. All right. So with that being said, I will see you guys in a little bit. Let me just get ready for the other live. All right. You all have a good one.
You too.